because like I'm gonna ask you the same question.
I
In
mean,
order for genetic splicing to occur, you have to splice. You have to splice through the cell with UV light. How can
okay,
you splice neuromelanin? That would be my question. Since they have our DNA.
okay, you just said that was
Most
important
definitely,
to me.
gratitude and abundance, my brother, for sure. I do want to
Yeah.
get to the other people on the panel real quick. Go ahead, Alter.
So neuromelanin is a hormone, not an actual cell.
It coats our cells.
Yes, but it is a hormone. It is a chemical.
What is the definition of, or let me, what is the etymology of chemical?
So your A, C, T, and G is
No,
what
no, no, no.
DNA.
You're not answering my
Wait, wait.
question.
Let me
What
lead
is?
up. Let me lead up to it, please.
All right, go ahead.
There's no over talking the host.
You can go ahead, Altered.
All right. So A, T, C, and G makes up DNA. DNA is always matched in pairs of four. Those pairs of four regulate secretions in your body. So the neuromelanin is just a product of the way A, C, T, and G is represented in your genome. Not your genetics, the genome.
So you didn't hear
Is
any.
your genetic material. That's the same thing.
No, the genetic material is everything that you're made of, but your genomics are only what is represented in your physiology. We share genetics with potatoes, banana trees, cabbage. There is many common genetics, but your genome is what makes you a species, like Homo sapien, Homo habilis, Dovian, Neanderthal. It is the actual active genetics in your genome. So the neuromelanin comes from the way the genome is written, and instead of other chemicals, the neuromelanin coats the cells in that specific expression of genetics in your genome.
Okay, can I ask you this question? Where did let's go back to the topic. Where did those people come from then?
That is a good question because let's face it, if it is not natural and it is synthetic, that would require high technology. Where is the evidence of high technology? Now, the white gene or the light skin gene came into being about 40,000 years ago, and like the pale white came into being about 8,000 years ago. So, on those two spectrums, you would have to have a high technological civilization, and especially 8,000 years ago, that would leave traces. We would be able to find evidence and remnants of, how do I word this, of labs or genetic failures, I guess it would be the closest. So you would see just abominations. There would be evidence in bone structures, and your caps on your junk DNA would be not as it is today.
Wait, so you're saying there's no proof?
No, I am saying if there is proof of synthetics, where is the proof?
You're the
Honestly,
proof.
I
how?
would say I would say they didn't come from anywhere. They were created by
But
a higher extraterrestrial beings. If you ask me,
but
they
who
were
did?
created.
You
They
said, all right, then where?
who created them?
Because you would have to have terrestrial operations. You can't just zap somebody up, do a little editing, and then place them back down with no.
Can I ask Altered a question?
Yeah, go ahead.
So what? So since you're talking about genetic altering, do you know the science or the tool that's used to do that, and how long it's been around?
CRISPR, yes,
And
it's
how
been
long has it
around.
been around? How long has it been dappled with, like as far as racemization, sonoportation, like transfection, racemization? Like how long has that been in the works and been used?
So the entire CRISPR, or just the CRISPR for
So
humans?
again, racemization, introgression, hybrid, like all of it. When did the
So
science, do you have a time period for
so it
when it came?
started. Yes, it started in plant. We dabbled with it in plants and stuff for our crops 40 years ago. But humans have been restrained by ethics. The Chinese are forerunning scientists on this, but they've been doing it since 2000, 2008 on humans. You have the two Chinese babies. There were 12 of them. They were CRISPR modified. Two of them survived. Dude went to jail, came back out.
So I have sources. I follow scientists, climatologists, evolutionists, and historians that have been saying that this has been around with DNA proof. DNA proof samples of this type of tech being tampered with since the 9 and 1000s.
If you
And I
are
can prove that.
But if you, there are ways to do it naturally, like Gregor Mendel, the father of genetics, allegedly.
Absolutely. So let's talk about the father of genetics and let's talk about the law of inheritance, please. So again, since we're talking about evolution, right, and how the eukaryotic cell came into play, which there is no explanation. The only explanation is, which is what we're talking about, is electrical fusion.
Which
So
is
all
a
scientists and
mutation.
historians are saying that y'all are here through electrical fusion. Now we can talk about CRISPR-Cas9. That's fine. But how did they get to the point to where they perfected CRISPR? How long has it been in the works? Of course they started with plants, small insects and stuff like that. But how did they get to the point to where they were able to genetically modify humans according to what you're saying? And that's
But
false, because I actually have experiments, like documents, because this is the reason why I don't use Google, because they lie. But when I check
absolutely.
other search engines across the world, then you can see that this has been done globally for a very long time. So I'm just asking,
So,
how long do you think that this took to, how long has this been in the works?
so are you talking purely on a biological with no technology, or are you talking like humans with technology purposely
Talking about the
editing?
tech. I'm talking about the tech itself.
Honestly, I don't know then, because let's face it, in the 80s, we couldn't even figure out what the whole genome looked like. So how could you have tech advanced enough to splice in genes when you can't even know what genes you have?
How did y'all know about arithmetic and y'all were still struggling with that, and then y'all were dabbling in science like this? See, that's the thing. Y'all created time, but nothing about y'all's timeline makes sense.
But
So I
that
want to
goes
know,
both
why did y'all
that
just
goes
come out of
both
caves less
ways.
than
Did it
10,000
all?
years ago? That's the main question. Y'all were on all fours. Y'all were still being born like this less than 2,000 years ago, and y'all are still being born with vestigial tails still to this day.
So you
So how
know
did y'all
that.
go from being on all
Genetic
fours
op-
with hypertrichosis, vestigial tails, unable to speak and reproduce, to where you can now tell me, when there's no explanation for how your species got here, but every scientist, historian, and climatologist is saying that so-called black people came from Earth's evolution, and these are scientists that look exactly like you and share the same genetic composition, the same incomplete dominant genetic composition as you.
So
There's
that
nothing
is.
new under the sun.
Hey, we don't talk over people, all right? So let
That's
them have their conversation, my brother. Go ahead, Altered.
all right. So specifically, the vestigial tales and all that stuff, you do know there is written evidence in Sanskrit that is 8,000 years old. So it can't be just a couple thousand years old.
I didn't
If
say
you're
that it was. I said that y'all came out of the caves less than 10,000 years ago. 2,000 years ago, y'all were still being born on all fours, which is 1800s.
so
Y'all
are
are still being born with vestigial tails to this day. I went to school with niggas who had to have their tails cut, and I'm
so
in
are
my early 20s.
so are Indians. Look at the
And
famous
Indians are who? They share the genome with who? Incomplete
Dovians.
dominance with who? You. We
Dovians.
don't have, with there, you melanated, which is pheomelanin, which is animal melanin, which is not neuromelanin, which is what my people are.
And I'm not disagreeing with that, but what
Yeah.
I am
So
saying,
again, you're fueling my point. That's what I'm trying to get you to understand, though.
all
That's
right,
still your
so
haplogroup, and that's still your genome. So
all
my
right.
people were never born like that. So that's the better question.
No one said
How?
your
What
people are
are
born
you,
like
and
that.
how did y'all get here to where you're on my planet that you share no biological identification with, as a sulfur and an ammonia based being?
Okay. Is that the complete question?
Yep.
All
Gene
right,
splicing
so
has to do with as simple as
Bro,
having sex
stop.
with.
Actually, you can go ahead and get off the. Go ahead.
am I able to continue?
Yeah, go ahead. My fault.
All right. So genetically, the white gene is what we are focusing on, correct? Or is it the whole genetic structure?
Everybody that shares the same genetic material as you, which is everybody outside of my so-called race or species.
So
It's not just white people.
white people do produce neuromelanin as well. It's in every Homo sapien.
Absolutely, but y'all are born with y'all's pineal glands calcified, which is where it's produced. So y'all are not producing neuromelanin at birth. Small traces of neuromelanin may be found in your brain, but it's throughout my entire integumentary system, in my whole entire system as a prokaryotic organism. That's what's functioning
Wait,
my
I'm
cells.
out. I got a phone call.
Yeah,
Could you please
that's
repeat the whole thing?
no.
Okay, well then I'm just gonna say what I gotta say then. So you said it's in your whole entire genome. It's because your A, T, C, and G are responsive and hyperproduce that hormone. A, C, T, and
It's
G
not a
makes up.
hormone, sir. It's
It
not a
is a
hormone.
hormone. Just go look it up. It is a hormone.
Melanin is explaining the type of DNA that you have.
No,
Number one,
melanin.
and it is a biochemical substance. Neuromelanin is a biochemical substance that is produced in the pineal gland, and it is throughout my entire body, which is the reason why I am the only person that has hair on this planet. And everything about your structure versus the two versus what I have is two versus your three is what makes yours fur. That is because you secrete pheomelanin, which is animal melanin. So as a neuromelanin, you're laughing, but this is basic like shit though. You see what I'm saying?
It may be.
The
It may
difference
be.
between me and you can be seen through our phenotype, which is directly connected to our genetics.
So what
So
is a
again,
phenotype?
your phenotype is how you is pheno means what you show, which
Yes.
includes behavior. So it's not just
No.
physical
No.
characteristics. Yes,
No.
it
The
is.
phenotype is
Bro,
what the AC.
you're not gonna talk over me. You see what I'm saying? It's 110 people in here, and you're not just gonna talk over me as a mod while you're asking me questions and you haven't stated one fact. So what I'm saying is, pheno means to show. That is a fact that everybody in here can switch the app and Google. That's what that means. And it is everything that you physically show, including behavior. Because that's what shown. This is the reason why we can look back at cave women, cavemen, Homo neanderthalis, Homo sapiens, and y'all used to do certain shit to y'all children. There's a psychological reason that's connected to y'all's genes that explains that. Everything that y'all do, there's a genetic explanation as to why, because it's what's programmed in your genetic material. So let's get back on topic. Evolution and the common ancestor of the common ancestry theory or whatever is saying that we all came from the same place. Now, if you're saying that the white skin today came into play 8,000 years ago, but no scientist on this planet can explain how the cell, that means that your cellular structure doesn't even align with this planet or anywhere in the cosmos as a sulfur and an ammonia based being. So how did y'all get here? How did we go from haploids to diploids? How did we go from being mainly prokaryotic organisms to now having eukaryotic organisms on the planet? And those animals that their DNA is composed of aren't even natural to this planet. Those animals aren't even natural. That's
Anunnaki.
all we want to know.
Go ahead, Altered.
All right, that was like 57 questions. Which one do you want to know to? I can go down them all.
How we went from haploids to diploids for like the sixth time.
All right, so what time frame are you referencing? Because I have two time frames, which is the SLC gene, which is the light skin gene.
How did we
that
go
came-
from haploids
genetic
to diploids? There is no time frame on that.
Genetic
When did
mutations. They
the
happen all the
evolution
time.
that you're talking about, when did it happen and how?
40,000 years ago.
How did we go from haploids to diploids?
The evidence says it's genetic mutation with diet and the climate zone.
So climate and diet is the reason why
No, climate
Uh,
and diet spurred one specific genetic mutation that found
how?
success. What do you mean
How?
how?
Because I can tell you how a star is born. I can break down the Big Bang Theory in all 7 steps. I can tell you how I'm composed of the same thing as a star. I can tell you that every star is a planet. I can tell you my genetic composition and yours. That's the thing. I can tell you how.
So can I, A, C, T, and G.
So explain to me how we went from having no animal DNA to all of a sudden having it by climate and diet.
You do realize you share
You do
DNA.
realize that there's
Wait,
no
nah, come on.
evolutionist or
Let's
climatologist
have a
or
civil
historian or his
conversation.
scientist that knows the answer, but you're still trying to answer it though.
Because
And I
we're
already
having a
told you
conversation.
that.
All
But
right, you
no,
have it.
they're top,
Potatoes,
sir, the
cabbage,
top
bananas.
scientists that look like you in the world
That's very
have
racist.
no
Like,
except.
come on.
How is it
Come on.
racist?
Because
There's
you are
nobody
judging
in
a
the
whole
entire
group off of
world.
the color.
There's no scientists in
May
the
I say
world.
something?
There's no
Now hold
scientists
on,
in the
brother.
world that can explain how the eukaryotic cell got here. The only explanation that they have is electrical fusion. Because, like the host said, how does eukaryotic plants like celery, okay, cruciferous vegetables, how did they get here when they're not biological, when they don't identify with the planet? How does a fruit fly, a mouse, a baboonous monkey, a chimp, a pig, how do they cannot naturally reproduce? How is it in your genetic material?
We're being serious?
This is what do you mean? When
All
they're
right,
talking
so
about humans, are they not referring to all haplogroups that share your incomplete dominant genetics?
So you do realize black, tan, white, and yellow humans share 98.2% of the
You
same
do realize
genetic
when they're
material.
talking about
Oh, come
animal
on. Like,
DNA
let me
that they're
at least
referring to.
explain it. Like,
Yeah,
every word
okay,
I say, you're
okay,
just going to
yeah,
come in.
because you don't know, and we already know you don't know this
Oh,
discussion.
yeah,
So it's really
yeah.
no point in even going back and forth because you don't know the words that are
You know
being
what? I
used.
agree. Please educate me. Tell me exactly how it happened.
I want to
He
know
don't want
how
to
we
accept
went
the
from
truth.
haploids to diploids.
No,
That's what I
no,
want to know.
I'm
Because you're the
neutral
one that came
because
up here and said
honestly,
that.
this doesn't matter to me.
Ultra, you keep bringing up skin tone. Like every time she says something, you keep saying black, tan. It's not about the skin
Because
tone. It's about genetics.
the marker for skin tone for lighter color and white people is the one I know of and the dates. The darker people and specifically sub-Saharan, they are pretty much original. They date back to almost 250,000 years ago. But that is not just Homo sapiens. That is Homo habilis in the southern Saharan. That is Dovians in Asia. That is Neanderthals in the north. And there were two other hominoid groups as well in the Americas. So there was 6 species contending for primacy on the globe. And as of today, Homo sapien is the dominant species on the globe. Homo sapien is white, black, yellow. That's human. And humans, when they are deficient in anything, their A, C, T, and G is not rewrote the correct way repeatedly over and over and over again. So genetic mutations happen. Now, genetic mutations can happen many different ways, but I mean, there is a natural explanation for genetic mutation. Currently, we're seeing it in birds. I forget, it's either Australia or New Zealand. The beak actually became shorter. So how's that happen with no human interaction?
Well, for one,
Talking about a bird that's already spliced in an already eukaryotic bird?
Yeah, but
Or are
it
you talking
mutated
about a
again.
prokaryotic bird? Mutations don't happen in prokaryotic species.
Mutations happen in
You want to
DNA.
know? You want to
Period.
know why? You want to know why? No, mutations happen in DNA with animals and plants that have a nucleus, but for prokaryotic animals who their cells are being ran off of biochemical substances like neuromelanin, there is no mutation because of the mitochondria. It just replicates. Elephants have been on the planet longer than the species that you're talking about for millions of years. Have there been any mutations with the prokaryotic elephants that have been marked here since 230 million? No,
I
because
don't
it's
know.
a replication. That's what
I'm
I'm
not a
telling you.
zoologist. I
That's
know more
fine. I don't have
plants
to
and
be a
people.
zoologist. I don't have to be a zoologist to know. I can understand the way Organisms function based off of their cellular function. So
Knowing
if
and
we were the
understanding are
same,
different.
if we were the same species, which means that we have the same genetic material, which means that your genes are connected to what you show, which is your phenotype. Why don't me and you phenotypically present the same, even if we have the same genetic material?
Because
Why don't we share this? Why don't we share the same? Why is your hair considered fur and why is mine hair? Why is my hair made into two structures and yours is three? Why is my integumentary system completely different than yours? Why do I sense the world? Why, like, everything about us is different.
yes,
So
because
how did we get to this point though?
your active genetics are much different than mine, but the makeup is A, C, T, and G. In mine, in
How?
yours, in everybody's.
How?
What do you mean how?
How can you be composed of the same thing but it shows differently? Unless we're talking about incomplete dominance, which is only
Because there
proven to
are
be a
over
fact in your genome.
there are over 130,000 different
Do you know what
genes.
incomplete dominance is?
Yes, I know what incomplete
Explain it,
dominance
please. I
is.
just want to make sure that I just want to see how you perceive it in your
So
way.
you're talking about cellular structure and dominant and recessive genes, correct?
Correct, but can you explain it, like
Right.
how it
So
shows through, how it's
incomplete
expressed through,
incomplete
phenotype?
dominance, in my understanding, would be that a dominant gene has an error code in certain of their A, C, T, and G makeup. And that error code overrides their ability to be the dominant gene, and it becomes more of a recessive or a mutated gene, which when it interacts with other genes, it either A, codes wrong, B, shows wrong, or C, causes rampancy and degradation.
So I'm gonna explain it for the niggas in the back because I know it's almost 200 people in here. I'm gonna give you an example. Say you have a so-called YT blonde mother and you have
Mhm.
a so-called brunette father. Incomplete dominance will say that that child will have ginger hair. That's just an example.
That's
It is
MRC1. That's false. That's MRC1
that
being
is
3.
incomplete dominance. You want to know why? Because there is different genetic material in mom versus different genetic material in dad. So because they are two different species like Homo neanderthals and Homo sapiens, right? In order for them to be considered interbred species, they had to be two completely different ones, right?
You know,
So
different
their
species
offspring
can't
would
breed.
be a hybrid, correct? So that is the reason why we see incomplete dominance amongst y'all. You
You
cannot
know,
see incomplete dominance amongst us. The only time you can see recessive traits, and I mean literally only, is because of the presence of antigens. And that's because we were graped on a global level. We feed antigens and we feed parasites. And that's just something that oppresses our cells. We're not producing the animal proteins that's doing that.
so do
But
you
when
do
it
know
comes to
that?
your genome, y'all are producing animal
I
proteins
got
and
that.
we
I
do
know.
not.
We're
So we don't
pigs, we're
have
animals.
any
I
animal.
got that. We
So
get
then
it.
so then you've been contradicted.
We get it. But you do know different
Yeah, but then
species
you've
can't
been
breed. Come
contradicted
on, like
because you
let's
just
have a give
agreed
and
with
take.
me.
Let's have a
So
give and
then,
take.
so then, if
All
that
right, then I'm just gonna
altered. You just proved my point again because you just agreed and said, yeah, we know that.
you know different animals can't breed. So how come you don't have a cross between
So then
a
answer
tiger and
my
a monkey?
original question. How did a pig and a fruit fly fuck and how are you here? That's what I'm asking you.
Can't. You
How did
can't.
that okay,
You
so then
can't.
how did it get
Listen,
in your
Linda.
genome, sir?
Listen.
Altered.
We
Altered.
all
Altered. Let's recenter, okay? Because there's other people that want to speak, all right? I'm going to ask you this simple question out of respect for the host page, and I'm just going to shut the fuck up. Because if you can't answer this, then I'm wasting my energy, okay? So again, how did we go from being mainly prokaryotic cells on the planet to now having eukaryotic cells on the planet with different animal genetics that also share no biological identification with the planet? We can talk about animals all day long. You keep giving me animalistic ass examples. I want to talk about your so-called humans. Fuck the birds, bro. How the fuck did y'all get here? That's what I want to know.
we got Yeah, we got 130,000 different genes. And again, 60% is shared with cabbage, 40% potato, like 60% banana tree. There are some genes that are across all different things. A, C, T, and G makes a gene. Different genes make a genome. Genomes make physical expression. Mutations happen, but just because there is junk DNA does not mean that is the active gene.
Host, you heard me? All 200 people in here heard me ask him, what, 8 times how he went from haploids to diploids, and he couldn't tell us. So
Mutation.
we can definitely, and you're just saying a word, but you're not. Explain to me how.
I did, but you're not listening. This is in any textbook.
Y'all are
Just look up
several
genetics.
mutations. So are you explaining just one? Y'all are incomplete dominant. There's multiple different animals in there.
Specifically, I am explaining SLC-A5. I don't know about the rest of the 130,000. I only know about 3,000, 4,000. But SLC 35A or 25A is a genetic mutation due to a rewriting error.
Okay.
Alrighty, we finna go ahead and move on. Abundance and gratitude. Origin, I know you've been waiting a minute. You can go ahead.
And the goddess Garnet just basically said everything. I mean, she articulated it perfectly. I mean, the thing is, they try to relate the melanin, because before then we start talking about it in graphic detail. They wasn't talking about it as being a part of them as a community. But now all of a sudden they have explanations of trying to connect themselves to having a little bit of melanin, But the thing is, they're a recessive community, and you can't get a dominant out of a recessive, no matter no matter how you try to put that on, try to make it sound good. You feel me? So, and it's facts. Like, how did y'all come into creation? Because you're not a neuromelanated community. You're not a neurocarbonated community. And all those things, is of this atmosphere, of this earth. You feel me? So it's like, how did they, come into creation? But it just seems he keep going in circles with it. So
Abundance and gratitude. I will say they do have melanin, but they have animal melanin. So-called black people, we identify with the cosmos. You feel what I'm saying? But I will agree, Altered, you was going in circles, you was dodging the question. It was a simple answer if you knew what you was talking about.
Yeah, I think
But you can't explain it. You want to know why you can't explain it, Alter? Because your top biologists, scientists, they can't answer it either. So therefore, how could you be able to answer that? But anyways, I want to go to the next guest. Then I come back to you. I am. Go ahead, Jay.
You hear me?
Yeah, go ahead.
Hey, peace, abundance. I just gotta say what Sky Watcher said. I mean, she was 100%. And I'm not saying that to belittle, the other races. I do have a YT child. But and I just came into this information like in the last 3 years. I've been listening to this guy named Kala Maya Ra. He's put my whole thinking is so different now. The big story is, like, where did you guys come from? That's the whole thing. Because now our people are learning about anatomy. We're not dumb, something's not right. And I'm not saying that to be mean towards white folks. Like I said, again, I have a YT child. If you go on my page, my son looks exactly white. Like I asked Kala because I was like, man, like, do I have enough neural melanin? Because my child looks like a white child. But he explained to me, like,
What is the mother?
my mother, his mom is white.
Yeah, so then that would be considered a hybrid.
A hybrid, yes. I have a
Right,
hybrid
so
child,
only the
but he
so-called
doesn't.
black woman can pass off her genetics because you get
Correct.
95% of your genetics
Genetics
from
from
your
my mom.
mom. Yeah.
So you saying that, host? My brother. See, okay, this is crazy. So me and Kalad spoke about this for hours. My brother, his dad is a YT, but my mom is black.
Hmm.
So, but my brother looks like a YT. He doesn't look mixed, just like my son. So it's so crazy. And Kalad was like, "Yo, you know where that's from, right? You got most of your genetics from your mother." You know what I'm saying? And so then when you got with a YT woman, because my both of my parents are neural melanated. You know what I'm saying? But my mom got into a relationship with another guy after my dad. It was a white guy, and my brother looks like a white guy. He has blue eyes, black hair. He looks like he's white. Doesn't look mixed at all. And then my son, if you go on my page, you'd be like, oh my God, my son looks the same way. He looks like a white kid. And that's crazy. The what you just said is correctly true. The black woman can make any type of baby
The
and
physical
pass on
manifestation of
and
God.
pass on those genes.
That's kind of false though. All of her children will be neuromelanated because she's the carrier of the totipotent stem cell. So, even in a so-called albino, is still neuromelanated. That's one of the 48 shades that she can create, but she's not going to create a pheomelanated or a eumelanated child because you can't get
You can't.
pheomelanin from neuromelanin. That's neuromelanin is the only molecule that is condensed sunlight and that can condense sunlight. We're the literal sun in the flesh.
Correct.
Everybody else has animal melanin. That shit is pseudomelanin.
So when I spoke to Kalai about it, he told me that it was like it happens. You know what I'm saying? Like if you go online, there's a lot of black females that mess with white men that produce white kids. It's weird.
I've been following Kalai for a while now. I never heard Kalai say that, but I'll have to check it out because that's not even possible. And he knows electrical fusion and sonoporation and shit like that. He talks about it all the time. So I'll have to check that out because
So
I ain't.
what would you? So what would you think? Like, so you're saying that like, because I hear it all the time. Like the black woman can make any type of child, any type of shade. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? Because
shade.
Yeah, I
Shade
wanted
are
to
different
respond to
from how
that.
you
So,
phenotype. Hold on. I'm gonna get to you. Uh
okay.
with the black woman creating any shade, that's a shade, but phenotypically the child was still their phenotype would still show as a so-called black person though. You feel what I'm saying? Like she said with the albino. Yeah, the albino skin looks white, but it's completely different from a so-called white person.
Yeah, what is that white composed of? That's what I'm trying to tell Altered. You see what I'm saying? You're
Hmm.
saying light skin and white skin, but what though? What's the genetic composition? Is it eumelanin? Is it pheomelanin? Because neuromelanin, a albino, a so-called albino brother or sister is still biosynthesizing the sun through their hair and their integumentary system.
Yep. It's not about the skin color. It's about the genetic composition that makes up that skin color. You see what I'm saying? And like my brother said, she can make any shade of color, 48 shades known, but they're all phenotypically gonna look black, like a
I mean,
black so-called black man or a black
so
woman.
so like if you go on my page, my son, his how you put this, his like he has the features of a black person, like a black person, but his skin is like fair white.
So his
His
phenotype
mother
is
is
black.
YT. His mother is YT, so that is a YT child, no matter how the child phenotypically presents, because your mother's genetics rule 100% of the time. It's just the
So
tail end of the.
so she's
Well,
a
his
black woman.
mitochondria
But my
DNA
brother
will
is
be of a
white.
YT woman,
No. I'm
basically.
saying my brother. Why if my mom had my brother with a YT man, why is my brother white?
Your weight,
He
your
doesn't
you
look
says
mixed at all.
so. Your both of your parents are black, right?
Both of my parents are black, but my mom after with my dad got with a white guy, and my brother, they had my brother and my little sister, and they look white. They don't look. They have blue eyes, black hair. They look. If you see them right now, you would think they're white people.
Yeah.
They
So
look
his dad
white,
is
Look
white
like,
though,
but
right?
they're
but the, yeah,
prokaryotic hybrids.
exactly. They look white, but what does their genetic makeup say? Who were they
They're
birthed by?
Right.
That's what we need. That's what we go off of here. That's what genetic goes up of.
Whose
You see what I'm
chromosomes
saying?
rule? The fathers or the mothers?
the mothers.
Fact. So whatever your mother is what you are, because it's her womb that actually constructs the child, and it's just the tail end of the sperm that fertilizes the egg. But
So
as a
when I'm
mother,
yes,
Yeah.
ma'am. So when I'm trying to
Let
explain
her finish real quick. Let her.
just let him go, bro.
no. She's right. She's right. So I'm trying to get at this. So when I got with a whitey woman, my child looks like my brother. He looks white. But when I got with I have 2 kids. I got one by a black woman, and that kid is black. He's melanated. You know what I'm saying? He has neuromelanin. He looks like me. He's black. But my other son with the white chick, it looks white. It doesn't look black at all.
So basically, he has the mitochondrial DNA of a white tea woman, but he probably will phenotypically look like a black person. But
Okay.
regardless, his DNA, it will still be mitochondrial DNA. So he's probably going to have a lot of like white traits, like balding and all, more risk and stuff like that.
Let me give
Um,
an example. So-called Obama, he looked black, but he not black because his mother is white. You see what I'm saying? That's just what it is. It's off your genetic makeup. He looks black because he has a little neuromelanin from the passed down from the father. But that doesn't mean that that's all the genetic material that child has. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, I get
All
what
of the information, most of the information comes from the mother. And that's where his mother is a white tea woman, is a eukaryotic cell organism.
Just
That's
and
like
what
your
they're
the child
mama.
and they're
is.
trying to
It's
say
that
that
simple.
Yeah, and they're trying to say that white tea women have the Eve gene and stuff. Y'all can easily, this is very simple to look up when it comes to like the mitochondrial DNA. Who do you get it from? Just go look it up real quick. It's not rocket science. It's just basic knowledge. Y'all are just coming out with like more like feelings when it comes to this stuff. This is basic knowledge. You get it from your mother. That's why people say when it comes to being at risk for balding, look on your mother's side to see if you were at risk for balding. It's very simple.
Wow.
Yeah. So, it's basically, you know what I'm saying? Like, at one point, they couldn't even really produce, you feel me, in history. And you know what I'm saying? It's like, it's not going to be a lot of dominant in it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Especially if that person, the only reason I see that, a YT race come out like that is if they got one of us down the bloodline. You know what I'm saying? But otherwise, it's gonna come out with their recessive genes. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And also too, I forgot the name of the shot, but if a white woman was to get pregnant by a black person, it's a shot that they have to take in order for the woman's egg cells to not kill the white man's sperm. I forget exactly the name of the shot. So that's another reason, the only reason why a black woman and a black man can create life, because of the shot that they have to go to the hospital to take to keep the black woman's cells from killing off the white person's sperm.
But that's false. That's only for YT people and people who procreate outside of their species. It's called a ROGAM shot because of hemolytic disease and red blood cell hemolysis.
And you gotta say unalive.
Yeah, so we got to do F1 because that might flag his live.
And red blood cell hemolysis is when your red blood cells start to deteriorate and fall up and break apart more than they're reproducing. And that's what happens when you procreate with these people, when you're eating cow, chicken, and pig, which is what these people are mainly spliced with, and the main things that so-called black people eat. You see what I'm saying? So that's what it is. It's the fact that these people are not the same amongst themselves. Antigens.
But I just wanted to back up what the host was saying. I just put a source on the board. This is just one of many. It's not just like you can't go do the research. But it says because of the mitochondria, you receive more genetic material from your mother.
And
you could just read that.
It says genetically, you actually carry more of your mother's genes than your father's. It says it right there.
But how could the father's traits be stronger when it's just the tail end of the sperm that fertilizes the egg? She comes here with all of her eggs and that she'll have in her lifetime. He's just sparking. Other than that, she's actually constructing the child on her own.
We're electric beings, so that's basically what that is. The male is the electricity that sparks the that whole life system into motion.
All right, Walker, would you say that the so-called black woman is a physical manifestation of God?
When it comes to divine masculine and feminine energy, and when you look at photons and how they spark the universe, yes, it would manifest in the physical as a so-called black woman.
Indeed, I knew that. I just wanted to hear you say it.
I do want to go to All Star. All Star. I know you spoke a little bit, but I'm not sure you got your full point out. Go ahead.
Yeah, I've been trying to show this on my screen. I don't know how to. It's zooming in. I'm trying to show a screenshot, like of the mitochondrial DNA coming solely from the mother, but it's not allowing me. It's like zoomed in. So, but yeah, basically the point. Well, I think it's better to show it. So hold up, I'm gonna come back. I'm gonna try to get it up and just put me up on the big screen.
All right, hold on. I got you.
Not the same species as the YTs at all.
Yeah, so you can see for the, but it says yes in humans, mitochondrial DNA are inherited solely from the mother, meaning the DNA inside the mitochondrial called the mitochondrial DNA is always passed down from the mother to her children. This is because the sperm contributes very little to no mitochondria during fertilization. So all the function mitochondria is in a developing embryo come from the egg cell. So that's why, like I just said, though, when you have these type of conditions, a lot of the time it's going to be inherited from your mother's side because we know it's the powerhouse of the cell. So if the powerhouse of your cell is from the YT mother, it's going to have these issues that come with that. So y'all have to remember this and keep in mind when y'all are talking about, oh well, you know, well I'm still phenotypically black. You sure you could be phenotypically black, but your mitochondria are white, and that's just how it is. They are from European descent. So Jay, your kid probably will go through the issues of a black man. So you have to keep that in mind. But on a DNA level, when it comes to conditions and stuff, it will be um of a YT. And
And
it's
that's
just that simple.
yeah, and that's the thing with mixing. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I'm saying? When it comes down to mixing, you know what I'm saying? You really got to think about think about just not now but generations. You feel me? How the well-being, because we are that super community. You feel me? That everything stems off of. You feel me? So it's like, you know when with all that mix and stuff, it's like, you know it's always gonna be problems with that child. You feel me?
They're trying to say false, but it's right. Yeah, they can look it up themselves. They don't want to know because they don't want to do their own research. This is common knowledge. You could no body that studies this is gonna say that it comes from the father. Just look it up right now. If you say false, that's what I'm saying. They don't want to believe certain things because in their head they gotta feel like they superior. But just look it up right now. It's so simple.
Yeah, ain't somebody say folks being mixing from the beginning. It wasn't mixing like that, the way they try to make it seem in history. You feel me?
Not
So
racially mixing
it wasn't. It was
different
it was
tribes.
it was different
Mixing, are y'all
tribes.
talking about grape that happened on a global scale? Y'all talking about how y'all wiped us 2 continents and other countries out alone with venereal disease because of toxic semen?
Yep.
Is that what y'all are talking about? I
the-
hope that's not what y'all are talking about.
Because there was no mixed children before the 12th dynasty, which is
Facts.
4,000 years ago.
That's ancient
No
Kemet.
mixed children before 4,000 years ago. So what do you mean beginning of time?
If I want to
Because
talk to Stephen Miller, you need a request up.
yeah.
That's a op we've talked to him for 12 months. I'm not even finna waste my time like dealing with Steven, Bear Maple, or Aeon, Ratio 33. Like these are people we
I
talk.
noticed he was in the last one.
Yeah, they always be like,
They
it's a
find
lie,
us in
it's a
every
lie.
live. Like y'all are
Well,
paid TikTok agents just to disagree, bro. It's 12 months and you still don't have a source to debunk us. That's crazy. When you've sat back and watched us have the discussion with biochemists and geneticists and historians, or
Yep.
people that claim to be at least.
and I
Let's
want to
just
just no, I want to ask him that he's saying that we like the same. So why do y'all get sunburnt then? That's all I want to know, really quickly. And he's saying he has neuromelanin. So why are you getting sunburnt? Why do y'all age like milk? I want you to just quickly answer that then, because it doesn't make any sense. Y'all, we all know some white people can tan, but that still is not neuromelanin. That's fake. It's not natural. You have to go out in the sun, just like you have to go out in the sun to produce the melanin. We have it naturally regardless of where we're at. So we're not the same in this regard at all. It
Yeah,
doesn't make any sense. Come on now. We're not getting sunburnt. We're not getting blisters, red, none of that. So make it make sense for us.
yeah.
Oh, I do
Steven,
not
you
feel
want
like
you?
talking to Steven, bro.
Well, I'll talk to him. I'll talk to him.
No, no, it's all good. Go ahead, Steven.
All right, so first of all, you don't even know what neuromelanin is, dude. Like, what are you talking
Obviously, I
about?
do. I possess it.
Yeah, we all do.
No, you
Everybody
don't.
does.
You don't have.
Yes, we
No, you
do.
don't.
So why do you
Because if
get
you have,
sunburnt?
if you have neuromelanin, yeah, like he said, how do you get sunburn? And not only that, how is your cells able to be spliced if you have neuromelanin?
Talking about. They try to say everybody got it. You know what I'm saying? But you
You do.
can't say.
No, we do. Actually, so like pull up a source. Just go to Google right now. Whoever can put
Yeah,
their
you're a
screen on,
Google
just go to
warrior. That's
Google,
the
dude.
problem.
Just go to Google.
That's your
Just
problem.
Google.
You're a
Why aren't you
Google
You're a
answering?
warrior.
Google
Why?
warrior,
Wait,
bro.
say why can you
You're a
get
That's
Google
sunburnt?
not
warrior, bro.
that's not what the host asked you. He asked you, I forgot what
Why
he
do y'all get
Yeah, why
sunburned?
y'all get sunburned?
Why? How come when we look at sunblock under a UV camera, y'all have unintentional blackface? Would you like for me to put that source on the board for you?
Why do y'all go
It's to
evaluate
protect us from the
my
sun.
species and
Everybody
the
should
girl's
wear
black
Why do you
sunscreen.
need
population?
Yeah.
protection from the
Why
sun
do
if
Why
you're
is
y'all?
that?
black?
You
Man,
saying
That's what we
and like
should.
he said, how if you have neuromelanin, how can your cells be spliced? Why do you have all these different animal genetics that cannot be naturally together?
Everyone does. You don't
No,
understand
We don't have
evolution.
neuromelanin.
You
Everyone
don't
don't have
understand
neuromelanin.
evolution. We're
We do.
mammals.
You're not. Listen,
First
I
of all,
okay,
understand what you're
okay,
trying to say.
Steven.
first of all, we're mammals. So are you not a mammal? Let me
You
No,
ask
are.
you
we're
that.
not mammals. We're
You
not
okay?
mammals.
Okay, that makes sense.
So again, how do we go from haploids to diploids if you believe in evolution? If that's
Oh
your
my
base
god,
premise,
you're still
is
doing the haploid diploid stuff. So you don't understand what
Wait.
haploid and diploid cells are.
So then let me
Okay,
bet.
teach us
How did
then.
we go from being prokaryotic organisms mainly on this planet to being eukaryotic organisms? Please go ahead. Since you don't like the haploid to diploid,
Yeah,
explain
fine.
to me how we were the only organisms here and how y'all got here.
from
You weren't.
autotroph to
You weren't the only
heterotroph.
You think that you were the only organisms here? Like, what are you
Prokaryotic
talking about?
organisms. Okay,
What are
Steve, this
plants?
is why I don't like talking to this fucking animal, bro. Too many animals want to speak through one nucleus at a time for you, bro.
Say you're a
That's why we
supremacist.
talk
It's
about
cool.
your
Just
genetics,
say you're a
dog.
supremacist. It's
Like, wait, though. Wait. Relax. Tame the beast. Like, respectfully, bro. We're just asking. See, you don't understand organisms. We're not just saying
No, no, I did.
us.
No, I did.
Steven,
Hey,
wait.
if you interrupt one more time, I'm gonna just go ahead and drop you.
Yeah, bro.
fuck. Like
Yeah,
what?
you
Exactly.
want, but he wants to be
He
dropped.
wants to be
Yeah, he
dropped.
wants to be
Yeah,
I
he
dropped.
would
wanted
too.
that.
As
Do it,
always,
do it, do
yeah.
it, because you have nothing to
But y'all got
say.
Hey,
too. Yeah, y'all got too
The fuck,
complicated
you
for him.
have
You got
nothing
to.
to say, bro.
Yeah,
Ass off.
yeah. All you have to say was why do y'all get sunburned? Not don't even talk about sunscreen. Say why do y'all get red and get sunburned? And it's that simple. He can't answer that. It would have been a full dodge. But if y'all get too complicated, then he can try to run around. Why do y'all get sunburned and get red? Why can't we be in the sun all day, 20 and high noon, and y'all get burnt up and blistered up and red and this and that? Explain that then. He can't do that. Talking about you have neuromelanin. Okay, then where's your neuromelanin at when you're getting red and blistered and sunburned? Talking about the sun. Well, we know the sun is a giant ball of radiation, but we're not getting blistered. We don't got to go to the hospital from being exposed to a giant ball of radiation. Y'all do. That's the difference. So obviously, you're talking about supremacists. Obviously, in some type of way, we are superior when it comes to the sun. Just and you can't dispute that. So I mean, you can run and around. That's why they try to run around. You got to keep it real simple for them. We're the same. Okay, why do we not? Why are we not getting sunburnt then? He's saying there it is. Well, there's what? Why haven't you answered that? You can't answer that. That's why I wanted you up
It's
here.
fine if you don't want to answer. I do want to get to the other two people who just joined up. So go ahead, Black
Yeah, he
Hot
can't
Fire.
answer.
Go
Yo,
ahead.
Black Hot Fire.
Go ahead.
Yo, Common.
Yo, yo,
All right.
what's going, y'all? All right, gang. Like she was saying, like Goddess was saying, they don't really understand like animal nature. They predate us, so it's like we were here to connect with animals, just like how they show you in the Avatar movie, how we connected with animals. We were sentient beings. We were people of high coloration. You feel me? We weren't discolored. We were loved by the sun, and universal nature literally gave us the law of principle, so we knew how to respect everything. They came and fucked up neutrality. So when you mess up neutrality, you don't have a ground basis of what you understand anymore. As to why, like she was saying, they get combative every time you ask them a simple question. Why can't they be simple? Because they don't have nature. When you lack nature, you lack neutrality. So when you don't know what necessity is, you look based upon projection. They only protrude what they think is real. So they only see the world from a glimpse
Can I
from a
ask you a
moon, from a
question?
moon structure. Huh?
Can I ask you a question? You just
Yeah.
said that. Did you just say animals predate us?
Yeah. You gotta look at it like this. Before you gotta think about this. Humans, we created things to give life to things so they can roam free and have its own freedom. We didn't come to control anything. That's why we know how to genuinely connect. Just like pyramids. What do? They're connectors to the universe. Everything comes down through portals. We came through. It's just like how they showed you in the end game. How they
Okay.
came through the portals and they came back to
Okay.
life.
Let me say this though.
Hmm.
The so-called black woman is the creator of life throughout the entirety of the cosmos. So she's a fragment of the universe, right?
Hmm.
So how is it that animals predate so-called black people?
I'm not saying they predate black people because we were spiritual beings that came into the form of human. You see what I'm saying? Animals were meant to be on the plane of existence. That's why I say they predate us when it comes to existence. We were already existing. We weren't here in the present moment. We predated due to the fact of essentiality. That's why women have essence. Feminine energy is the essential makeup of everything, which anyone should understand. So like, yeah, you factual in that. But like that's what white people to teach somebody like gang. That's why animals do exist. Animals show you how how even humans today even overconsume. Animals do they don't do that. Animals eat bear, they go hibernate. A tiger, somebody eat, and it's what tigers, lions, it's not even the men that hunt, it's the women that goes out and get the food. And then the men just protect the women. Even in natural law of order when how animals do shit, the women is still the natural leader. So people don't realize like in every neurological and every natural and every analytical. That's why anxiety is the thing. It starts with an an because it's animalistic. Everything starts with an analogy. It starts with the eternity of how things come into play. Everything's a canal of root. That's why it's like it gave life, but then after that it was the understanding of itself to come into play. That's why white people don't want to understand who we are because they disregarded what we made. And what is that? That's called time itself, time and space. That's why women have the X on X. They got space upon space. They can continue to make anything. As she said, if a black woman or a white woman make their kid, they come from the essentiality of that woman. So, like you said, the mitochondria, you can't change how your mitochondria is or your plasmic nature, but how your blood is, of course, you will be a man or a masculine nature due to light. That's what flesh is. You feel me? That's the fractal light of what it is. But women are the matter of it all. So yeah, mitochondria necessarily is the you can't necessarily escape that. It's the understanding. That's why we have to dwell within the mind. That's why it's mind, body, spirit. That's the Holy Trinity. They don't want you to teach. That's why they got so many facadical things when it comes to like how they say demonize. They demonize our nature due to the fact that they've disregarded the sun. They only live based upon the moon. So they live from illumination of all emotion, but they lack feeling towards all connection. So they don't want to collectively be with us. They would want to be, like she said, superior. They want to seem like it's superior, but they don't know like
Uh,
you come from a collective
all
consciousness.
right, all
So
right.
like,
I got you. I got you.
yeah, I can't prove. I only
A
can
lot
like.
of things, she said. You're saying that she said she didn't say that at all. I'm gonna be honest with you.
I mean, she really did.
But
It's just like the deeper understanding. That's why women. That's why even today's society, like women are the most knowledgeable. That's why
I mean,
men look
she's
towards
saying even
books.
in the comments that she didn't say any of that. But I appreciate that frequency. We're getting a little bit off topic and things of that nature. So I
Yeah,
want to ask you, where did these people come from? Let's just go back to the topic.
universal law. That's why I try to tell people. If they say the universe is teeming with life, you got to understand. That's why humans look for a
They
outer
came from the
existence.
universe.
Yeah, humans look for an outer existence.
Okay.
That's why religion is a
Okay.
thing.
I got you. Let's stop right there.
But
You said they
like
came from the universe. If they
if we
can't,
all come, you gotta think. What is it? What
like I said, you said they came from the universe. The so-called black woman is the physical damn, I can't even say it, but y'all know what I'm saying. She's the fragment of the universe, right? So they did not come from the so-called black woman because, like we said earlier, you get 95% of your material from your mother. Meaning, if they came from the so-called black woman, then they would be, first of all, we would be able to create them, and they would be able to create us. You don't see that today. And also, so-called black people do not have any type of animal DNA whatsoever. But these people have, they share DNA with multiple different types of animals that are unnatural, by the way. So my question for you is, how did they come from the universe?
I got a question right before he answered that because he didn't say that, brother. He said that they came from universal law, and I would like for him to explain which universal law did they come from.
Yeah, which one is universal law?
I'm gonna go off the principles of Mayat. Like I said, like we were just loving. We were the benevolent people. So like when we come from universal law, we come from a beneficial. We come from benevolent love. We come from. It's all 42. I necessarily can't say which one because I mean, like I said, I don't subjugate everything. Necessarily is obligation. That's why feminine law necessarily everything happened for everything to come back into play.
So how
When a
was
woman
it
creates
created?
something, she
How would
created it not knowing
how would
what
they
she
create
created.
it
You
through
know what I'm saying?
Maya?
Huh?
How would they create it through Maya?
You gotta think. So if a
No.
feminine,
You
so
gotta
like you
yeah.
gotta
Tell
think of
me.
it, if feminine nature created men to come into play, but like think about it, like I said, the masculine energy, they rebelled against feminine nature. So we disregarded essentiality. So like they said, a carbon god most likely went against the highest good of a carbon goddess and created the white men, like created YT people within the covenant beyond the covenant of what people were supposed to be. So like they went against the highest good in the highest order. They disregarded principle. While we cared about principle, they went along and just did what analytical. Like she said, you got pro and then you got you. So
Wait,
like
so are
they
you
went
saying
through.
so-called black men created other races?
You had to. That's the only obligation. Because when you look at it, like she said, a woman wouldn't go against her own procreate. If a woman could create based upon partho I forget how you say it, but parthocygenesis.
Parthenogenesis, bro.
Yeah, for real. Like so, like if a woman could do that, like she said, the prokaryotic. If a woman could create,
But
now this is
how
a
did
man at first.
so-called black men create other races?
Through science. That's why science is a thing. Before science fell in so much frequency, it was used at a high paradigm. It was used. That's why Egypt pyramids and everything exists. Like these things were made at high paradigms. These things were made at so much esoteric knowledge that they couldn't replicate it. So they tried to use the same knowledge. They took it. They
Who is
ransacked it.
they?
When I say they, that's what like I try not to that's what I said. Like my name Common Eternity for a reason. I try to stay neutral as possible because I don't
Nah,
like
you
the.
don't got to be neutral up here. To speak your truth. Who is they?
I mean, it's the government. It's the people that go against. It's like
So the
necessarily Satan.
government was. Oh my.
Like yeah.
Okay.
You feel me?
Oh.
It's the collective consciousness that goes up against whatchamacallit, the natural consciousness. You feel me? It's the collective consciousness based upon evil. You feel me? That's why they call us devils, because they know we're divine evil. We're based upon chaotic nature that knows what it's supposed to do. They're based upon just only nature they've chosen to do. That's why I said it's a separation. I try not to. That's why Kendrick
Yeah,
Lamar, just
I
like
don't
bro said
think
in the
you
comments, they not
explaining
like
though,
us.
brother.
The
I'm
explanation
asking
was
you, how did so-called black men create all other races on the planet?
not black men, just a carbon god. It's one. You feel me? You gotta think like. There's not many. That's why they only show you in the Bible like, yea, so are gods. Like it was one person that depicted themselves as God based upon humans and chose to literally control humans and didn't want them to be collected into a whole lump sum of what we were supposed to be doing. So like men went against the woman's highest order. So like when men
So
chose to do that, we fell in frequency
you're
with
saying
animals.
men, but you're also saying one person. You're confusing
Because
me
we
right
all
now.
come from like the essentiality. That's why I'm like, I can't necessarily, that's why I said like it's neutral based because everything is nature. Necessarily Mother Gaia doesn't want to ridicule anybody
How
because
does
I don't want to
how
necessarily
do
ridicule
how
anybody.
do how do animals predate us?
They predate when it comes to the physical depiction of what essentiality is. Animals were first. That's why they got all fours on the ground. What do you think about it? All fours on the ground. They gain more energy through Mother Gaia than we do. That's why they can literally live and they're stronger than us. They're faster than us. They can do things of
We,
unlike nature,
brother,
which us we still can do. It's just that humans have forgotten the nature of what we're supposed to be doing. So we lost access to spiritual guidance. You feel me? That's all I'm really saying, for real. That's why I'm like, I
wait,
can't
you just
necessarily.
contradicted yourself then.
It's not no. It's not contradiction. It's just like connection. You got it. That's why it's analytical. You feel me? It's analytical. That's why I say animals predate us because
So can you? So which animals predate us?
like yeah, I wouldn't say like monkeys and whatnot. We have majestic animals. That's why they
No,
don't show us how
which
monkeys.
monkeys or which animals predate us?
Simple question, brother.
I'll be honest. I just simply don't know. So yeah, enlighten me.
Okay,
So what
but
are you
okay,
saying,
why
bro?
are you up here spewing what you don't know to 140 people,
Bro,
bro?
Because you
if
gotta
you don't
realize
know, then
animals don't necessarily. You can't we don't want to antagonize people based upon what they don't know they're made out of. So like, if you're gonna tell somebody what they're chemically made from or what they assume to be made from, you gotta say it from a neutral standpoint.
Do you
Speak
know?
with a more calmer tone so
I
they
can
can
tell
genuinely
you,
understand. You
brother.
feel me?
I
So they
can
can
tell
grasp it.
you. Yeah, I can tell you
Yeah,
everything that
we
you're
know.
composed of and what I'm composed of. I know that I'm carbon, helium, nitrogen, oxygen, and carbon, and they are sulfur and ammonia based. That's not that's been out the bag. So again, how does a sulfur in an ammonia based being, or a sulfur in an ammonia based animal, or a sulfur in an ammonia based plant, insect, how did that shit get here? And how does it predate us? Because if you can't tell us what animals, then I'm going to assume prokaryotic animals, because that is a fact that prokaryotic organisms were the first beings here. It doesn't matter what it is, prokaryotic plants, animals, insects, were the only organisms here. So when you say monkeys and then you relate it to being majestic and then you say you don't know, like that's a problem.
I
Because
mean,
you
because
should be able
truthfully,
to tell me
because though
something.
I tell people like, because truthfully, we don't everybody in this panel don't necessarily know it all. That's why even after this panel, everybody gonna do
We do
what?
know.
Meditate. You gonna ground yourself. You gonna try to look for some type of Akashic record to truly understand or honestly understand what you even
Akashic
know.
record is your genetics and it's
yeah,
you.
That's what I'm saying.
That's
So
what
like,
you're
that's
pulling
when you
from.
realize. That's
So
when you
then how do
realize
you
like,
not know? So then how do you not know if you're meditating, which you're meditating going into where? Within. The soul is what? All knowing. How can we explain the soul in physicality? Through neuromelanin, which is the only molecule that can condense sunlight, and it's condensed sunlight. Everybody that came, well, I'm talking about physically where we are, our people, like where we are historically, so called, based on their narrative, have always looked towards neuromelanin as the soul in the flesh, or quantum science relating it to spirituality is what I'm trying to say. So neuromelanin is a known fact, and it's also present in our brains before we're even I can't even fucking talk right now.
I know what you because you
We're
right
the
though. That's what I'm
only
saying.
we're
Like,
the only
I know
people
you
that are
right.
born with the production of neuromelanin. Our pineal glands are producing that.
And prokaryotic cells deal with past, present, and future. You see what I'm saying? They don't. Only eukaryotic cells are right now. This is why they need schools and all of these things so they can relearn shit and learn shit because they don't pass down memory like we do. We have the memory of the first ever so-called black man or woman to ever be in existence throughout the cosmos. You see
Righteously.
what I'm saying?
Matter of
That's
fact,
we're really
that's an
we're
honest
literally the exact replica of it right now. You see what I'm
Animals
saying?
don't predate us.
So animals don't predate us. You see
They
what I'm
don't
saying? We
predate us
are
in
the
That
universe.
existence.
means that
But when it comes
that
to
means that entire. Hold on, I
physical
just want to say
nature,
one thing and then
animals
I'll
been
let you
here.
go. That means that you're basically saying that the entire universe was sparked by animals.
Nah,
That
you
means
gotta think
that
about it.
life was
You gotta
sparked.
think
If
about it.
animals
You
predate
gotta think in
us,
space. Oh, I'm gonna let you talk. Right. My apologies. What you saying?
Bro, you keep saying you gotta think.
You gotta guess. You
Not
really
it's
gotta.
a
You
it's
gotta
a
see it.
different
You
But you
gotta
know, the
really
one that doesn't know,
understand.
we know.
yeah, it's
If
a
the
difference
universe is
between
teeming with life,
knowing
if
you
the
don't
universe is teeming with life
brother,
and
brother, hold on,
extraterrestrial
hold on,
and
hold on,
extra,
hold on, hold on, hold on, hold on. Please don't overtalk me, all right? So I'm gonna tell you, it sounds like you don't know what you're talking about. I'm gonna just be completely honest. You even said you don't know. So why are you sitting here trying to argue? That's my question. Like, what's the point?
that's why I said I'm showing you depiction. You gotta really understand. That's why scripture, pictures, all these things in life show us what honestly is supposed to be seen. So it's like you see the universe is teeming with life. That means extraterrestrial life is more at play than physicality. There's more things in the universe than there is physical beings. Animals were here first for the so the creator could just see how the world will work with just existence on it. That's what I'm trying to say. Humans came after that to understand what the elevation of the earth was going to be like. That's what I'm saying. We're the being of of essentiality, but animals are necessary to this plane of existence. Humans could die today, bro, and animals will still figure out how to live on this. Humans don't know how to do that without having a consciousness. That means animals literally predate us when they come to physical
You're
nature.
saying humans. I'm gonna just go ahead and say this, then I'm gonna move on to AJ. So-called black people, we are not humans in the first place.
Literally,
All
that's
right.
what I
So
said.
I'm gonna go ahead
Human
and
is
say
just a word of head, uterus, and man.
no. I'm saying humans. When you look up humans, that identifies with animals. So-called black people have no animal DNA. We are not humans at all. So I'm gonna just go ahead and say that, and I'm gonna move on to AJ. So go ahead, AJ.
Yo, how's it going? Can y'all hear me well? My mic is not the best.
Yeah, we can hear you.
All right, all right. So firstly, you said that animals do not predate, let's say, for simplicity, black people, right? What's your evidence of that?
he didn't say that. A guest said that. Okay, the host topic in here is where did they come from? We're talking about you. We're talking about the men that are on the screen. Where did the eukaryotic organism come from? That's the topic of the room.
The eukaryotic organism. Wait, white people aren't eukaryotic.
Br-
That's what I'm confused on first. They would
What
also
what
be
what is a
eukaryotic.
eukaryotic cell?
It would be a cell that I would assume lacks the same type of mitochondria.
You say assume after you.
Because I'm trying. Okay, because I don't know every single fact
Doesn't
offhand.
know.
But wait. Um, both black and white people would
don't
still
know
be
what eukaryotic cell
prokaryotic.
So
is.
then how are you gonna tell me that they're not? Like,
You
please,
don't even know
bro.
what a eukaryotic cell, and then
They
you just
teach
said
this to
white people
y'all
are
in
not
biology.
eukaryotic. You just said white people are not eukaryotic, and then we asked you what is a eukaryotic cell, and you just said mitochondria.
So
That
they
that
say,
nothing that doesn't tell us anything about the eukaryotic cell for real. So can you tell us more about that, or if you can't, we're gonna have to move on to the next guest out of respect for the host.
sure. So a eukaryotic cell would be a cell that lacks the same level of complex mitochondria. They would essentially not have the same set of instructions and genetic complexity as a prokaryotic cell would. Am I incorrect in saying that?
Barely. But which came first, prokaryotic or eukaryotic?
It would have been eukaryotic.
Okay.
Not true at all.
Oh,
Wait.
again, did you know what eukaryotic was before you came in here, or you didn't know? Because this is This is a discussion about speciation.
Well, I would say I
We're not
know,
talking
but I don't
about
remember every single fact offhand.
what?
I know, but I wouldn't say I know every single fact offhand.
I don't know. I'm not saying that either. I'm asking you, do you know what a eukaryotic cell is?
Yes,
And you said a minute and a half ago that you didn't. Now you're saying you do. Did
I
you
said
Google it?
no. I never know.
Oh,
No. I
okay.
said I would
So
assume because I don't have the. I could be completely wrong. I'm giving room here. That
So
could be.
if you really knew what a eukaryotic cell was, you would know that it didn't come first. You see what I'm saying? That's just one thing I'm gonna say. And
Wait,
one
how do you
thing
know
I'm
that?
gonna say is that everybody outside the so-called black race is a eukaryotic cell organism, meaning that y'all have mixed animal DNA to make up your entire organism that y'all walk in today.
Wait, how do
multicellular
you know
Y'all are
that?
organism.
Well,
multicellular
firstly,
organisms. Y'all are all of
I'm
those
black.
animals that you see on the screen cannot naturally reproduce with each other to create you as an offspring. How did all of those different animal genetic material get inside of your
Wait,
organism
how
to
do you know
make
that
you? Where do you
prokaryotic
come
cells came
from?
first? How do you know that?
AJ, can I ask you a question?
Wait, I want this guy to respond to my question first. How do you
All right,
know
go
that
ahead.
prokaryotic cells came first?
But
Like, how do you know that? Like, where's your evidence?
Because they're single-celled organisms. Those were the
Because whenever you're looking at evolution, right?
Hmm.
Anytime when you're talking about origins, right? It everything is saying that prokaryotic organisms were the first organisms here. That's a scientific, a genetic, and a
And
historical fact.
I wanted to add that the root definition of
And I can show that
prokaryotic
to you.
means before nucleus. You see what I'm
Right.
saying? It means before nucleus. The root definition of eukaryotic means truly seeded nucleus. And then when we dive into cells and we see what these historians and then these scientists say, they say that you cannot splice into a cell that is coated in UV light, which is only black people, but yours could be. And this is how y'all were able to exist
Wait,
because
wait,
y'all cells are
I'm black
easy to
too, but
manipulate and easy to be spliced. You see what I'm saying? Because y'all have animal DNA and have animal melanin. You see what I'm saying? This is what it is. We're not the same species, and we have two different cell types. And this is a scientific and biological and genetic fact.
well, one, I'm black too. I don't know why I keep saying y'all, but okay, let's say that's the case, that prokaryotes came first. How do you make that jump from prokaryotes coming first to it automatically meaning that one, that black people were the first things, like first living beings on Earth, and secondly, that white people don't have any prokaryotic cells?
Because we understand the way both organisms function, and we understand the way neuromelanin functions our cells. So that would make us a prokaryotic organism because there isn't
Hmm.
multiple different genetic material that's functioning our cells, like how the eukaryotic organism has multiple different animals speaking through one nucleus for them. The so-called nucleus, or like he said, prokaryotic means before nucleus, right? And eukaryotic means truly seeded nucleus. So if prokaryotic organisms were the only organisms on the planet, that means that they were self-functioning organisms.
Yep,
It does
autotrophs.
not mean that you are unicellular, meaning one cell, Stephen. I don't
Hey,
know how you still don't fucking
can I
know that
ask
as
you
a
a
grown
question
ass
though?
man. So when we're talking about unicellular, we're referring to one thing functioning the cell, not multiple different animal genetic material that functions one cell. That's the difference between a eukaryotic and a prokaryotic organism.
And
So
we're
on the screen, it says prokaryotes were the only form of life on Earth for millions of years until more complicated eukaryotic cells came into being through the process of evolution. But when you talk to the top evolutionists, the top climatologists, because they're saying that all of this different genetic material got into their genome by climate and diet. But when we talk to the top dietitians and the top climatologists of the world, they can't prove how we went from haploids to diploids. And more scientists and historians will tell you that it never happened
yep.
than what you think, bro, because there is no explanation for how all of these different animals that he has on the screen up there, they're not natural and they don't share biological identification either. They are also eukaryotic cells. They are also eukaryotic organisms.
And as for so-called black people, as prokaryotic cells, all of our genetic information stems from one embryological origin, which is the totipotent stem cell of the so-called black women, which has the capability to create a whole organism from it to get
Hmm?
created. You see what I'm saying? But for y'all, it's not like that. You see what I'm saying? So y'all don't even pass down information when y'all procreate with each other because it's incomplete dominance when y'all procreate with each other.
You said
So
that, wait, you said that white people don't pass down genetic information or mitochondrial information?
Like a covenant. Y'all don't have like base
yeah.
information to continue to pass down for universal knowledge.
because
There's
because
understand.
when you see organic animals in nature, when you see elephants, they when they procreate, they make a replica of themselves. Y'all don't make a replica of yourselves when y'all procreate with each other because the percentages of animals that y'all have within each other vary. You see what I'm
Wait, you
saying? Like my
said
brother had on the as a picture for the host. He has, like, for example, that organism right there has chimpanzee, 96% chimpanzee, 80 mouse, and then you could have a whole different organism that has 86 mouse and 90% chimpanzee. And when these two procreate, they make a whole new organism. That's a whole new dominance. That is inorganic. That is unnatural reproduction. So that this is why the sun is removing y'all and making y'all sterile now. You see what I'm saying?
well,
This is what's happening on the planet.
all right, well, one, I'm black. I don't know why you keep saying y'all, but two, I'm kind of lost on the fact that you said that animals make an exact replica of themselves. They don't. They look similar because there's less genetic like diversity, but it's not a lack of genetic complexity. Like
No,
there's
like I said,
people.
that's why they took away our mystic animals, like the mammoth. That's the elephant. That's just a degenerate thing of a mammoth. Mammoths used to literally make replicas of mammoths. That's why they took away their tusks, took away
Elephants
all
are
that, take away
prokaryotic
some.
I wouldn't
organisms
say
and they make replicas of themselves. All prokaryotic organisms are making replicas because guess what? There is no other genetic information that is within their genome to trip it off.
Yep.
wait.
An
Where did
elephant.
replicas come from?
Listen real quick. An elephant is 100% an elephant. A lion is 100% a lion. We are 100% solar beings. We just have antigens in our blood right now. Y'all are not 100% of anything. Y'all have different genetic material telling, asking for different proteins for your cells to structure themselves better. That's what's happening. And
Wait,
now that nucleus is getting removed, and that's the truth that's getting
how do you say
revealed now,
that
is that y'all are
protein and
inorganic
life
to the
form after
planet.
proteins?
That's why y'all use the caduceus on pharmaceutical things because y'all
Wait,
know Kundalini energy is literally the sum up of why we continue to perpetuate our
wait,
existence. We
do you
continue
know
to
what?
live on and create and literally make ourselves healthy and whole due to the
I got
fact
to
of,
ask
like you
you
said, the
about it. Do you know what a
prokaryotic
protein
cell.
is?
That's
Wait, because
real.
do you know what a protein is? Because you just stated that like other races need to like their cells to ask for proteins. You know what a protein is? Because every single cell that exists on Earth requires proteins in some way, shape, or form to live.
I
Like
know that, but you
like if
got
you made
multiple different animals asking for different proteins in one cell.
what is a
Your
protein
body,
exactly?
you,
Your body can't process that many
all of
dead
my
animals.
proteins are made from
Wait,
my neuromelanin. Your
so you can't
proteins
even
are made
define a
from fruit
protein.
fly, chimpanzee. You got fruit fly proteins, chimpanzee proteins, rhesus proteins. That's what the RH factor comes from. I know you just
So
trying to
you
tell me the definition of
can't
proteins,
even
but you're
describe a
trying to
protein
ignore
though.
the fact that you are not organic to the planet, and you're trying to ignore the fact that you haven't
No,
answered the question that the
because
host has on the
what
panel.
I'm doing is
Where did
answering
you
that you
guys
even know
come
the
from?
bare
How
minimum
did
of what
all
you're
of these
talking
different
about.
animals make up the
Just put it
organism
like this.
we
Put it
have
like this.
today?
If you put 10 black people out in the sun and didn't feed
No disrespect, Common. He's not talking to you, so please stop talking while they're trying to have a conversation. All right. And AJ, stop
If
over
anybody
talking
want
them
to,
when they're
yeah, my
speaking.
bad, host. My bad, host. If anybody want to come up, we can roast. Like, Altered hasn't spoken like an hour and a half, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, he can drop and somebody else can come up. Like, you see what I'm saying? Like, if anybody up here wants to explain to us how we're the same species, feel free to request up. Like, y'all don't have to keep repeating yourself for hours and hours in the chat when you can just come up here and express your frequency. But a lot of y'all we have already talked to for months. We've talked to Steven for months. You see what
Yeah,
I'm
I'm ready
saying?
to talk
Y'all
again.
should have
We should
a
continue.
source by now. Y'all should have a source by now, but you don't. Like, that's the thing. If we're not prokaryotic, then come
The
up here and
source. No, you
explain to
put the
us how
source.
we're
You
not.
have the picture up. Put your
Because
picture back up.
the only organisms on the planet can be prokaryotic or eukaryotic organisms. So then what the fuck are we then?
Right.
Are you
You're
saying
eukaryotic.
Steven, shut
Stephen
the
Wade.
fuck up. Don't care, bro. Again, lower brain bigger than your upper brain, bro. This is gene expression that you're showing us, bro. Gene expression, phenotype, behavior, what you show. You're a grown man that can't wait his turn. And there's a psychological fact and a genetic explanation as to why.
All right, abundance for that. AJ, if you got anything else you want to say, if not, I'm gonna go ahead and move on to the next person.
Yeah. So what I was trying to get to is that you could not even define to me what a protein is. You made the statement that say black people are distinct in the means that they don't even require proteins.
That's
Like
not
people,
what he said.
Not what he said. We don't require different animal genetics. Yeah, 444. We don't require different animal genetics. We don't produce animal proteins because we don't have the genetic material in our genome for our cells to be programmed to give them proteins off.
And proteins are just amino acids.
That's it.
That's it. Structured amino
That's
acid.
it.
So let's stop the foolishness, bro.
okay,
It's what builds up the cell. You see what I'm saying? And what builds up the whole organism. So let's focus on the actual fact that you have multiple animal or you're trying to defend.
Yeah,
you're trying to defend a whole species that is not native to the planet and has multiple animal DNA. Whole time they're on your planet, usurping your energy and usurping the most number one energy, which is the so-called black woman. And we're not doing anything as so-called black men. Why, as a collective, we are not focusing on that? Why are we defending a whole different species while our women and children are getting snatched? What type of shit is that?
what specific amino acids do say black people lack, or that are distinct, I should say, from say other races? What specific proteins?
We don't have to give specific. What he's saying is we don't produce.
It would be nice if you did get specific.
Hold on.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
Whoa.
Our fur or your fur we would be able to look at the structure of the hair versus fur. We can see 2 versus 3. There is an animal protein that is associated with the multicellular organism that is producing that substance to where it is now fur. We're just talking about the function of the organism. That's it. So again, we don't have multiple different animal genetics. We have antigens. So when you're talking about blood types, you're referring to the type and the amount of antigens that are present in your blood. So-called black people like to rave about how they have O positive blood, but so do zoo-born chimps. That's what we were talking about, being raped on a global scale. Their semen was toxic, wiped out 2 continents and other countries alone with venereal disease. If we're the same species, why did you unalive my people? Why are there books called When Grape Was Legal? Y'all legalized graping our children as early as 2 hours old, bro. 2 hours old. Why
can I
is
say
that,
something since I was brought up here? Can I say something?
And we produce hydrocarbon, and we literally feed all life. This is facts. So if you have anything to, I don't know if you had anything to say, but that's facts.
Like literally, if we're the same species, you wouldn't see hemolytic disease or red blood cell hemolysis. 2 elephants are not doing that. 2 of the same species of anything are not producing hemolytic disease. So how come when we procreate with the opposite species 100% of the time, because we are introducing antigens to our bloodstream, how come we see red blood cell hemolysis
and zoonotic disease?
And why do our people now need a RhoGAM shot? Because we're procreating outside of our species because of the presence of antigens. We're not producing the animal proteins, y'all. That shit is for breeding purposes only. And that's the reason why a lot of people outside of our species, they will tell you that they got a blood test first before they decided to procreate. That's it. The food, like he said, the food, yes, adding more antigens. When you eat meat, the same thing that they're spliced with, you're adding more antigens.
When you're sleeping with these people, you're adding more antigens. Zoonotic and hemolytic disease. This is a fact. We're not the same species. We're not supposed to be mixing. So go ahead.
Nah, y'all got it. All right.
Oh, okay. Go ahead, Fireheart and the emojis. Go ahead.
I need y'all to be a little bit more specific is what I'm trying to get across to y'all. That's all I'm trying to understand. Because y'all throwing out a whole bunch of words, okay? But y'all not specific. Y'all say animals, but what do you mean by animal? Animal genes, animal genetics. What do you mean by animal? I needed you to get a little bit more specific.
The thing
That's
is,
the
we
only
are
reason
being
why I was in the
specific.
comment talking.
Yeah, we are being very specific.
No, y'all are spilling out a whole bunch of different words. Okay, I understand it, but at the end of the day, you got your
You
proteins, you
don't
got your
understand, right?
mitochondria, you got your antigens, you got your all that stuff y'all are saying right now. But at the end of the day, y'all not being specific when it comes to when people are asking
What,
questions like AJ asked you a question about what animals are you talking about? What animal? And you couldn't even, or
did you
what
not look
protein
at
y'all
the
talking about. You
screen?
couldn't even tell us what proteins
Did
y'all
you
was
not
talking
look
He
at
about.
the
asked what
screen?
animal. He asked what protein, and that was
Okay,
not
I just corrected
the
myself. I just
question.
corrected myself. I
Yeah,
just
that's
said
fine.
protein.
But
I just
sister,
corrected
I don't
myself.
know how long
So
you've been
so
here, but there's
I
people that
asked you,
pay
I
attention to
asked
this
what
anyway.
animals you are talking about. So what animals are you talking
They're
about?
on the screen, my sister.
What
My
animal
sister.
genetics and
Oh my
eukaryotic?
fucking god!
Man,
They're
like,
on the screen.
bro, you gotta. I know you
Yes.
eat. Stop eating meat.
Bruh.
Stop eating. Please stop eating meat.
My bad.
Please
Y'all ain't
stop
hold
eating
it.
meat
I
so
This
hate.
you
is
I
can
why
love
hold
you,
this is
a
what
sister.
normal
happened last
conversation.
time.
Please See stop what eating I'm meat, saying? sister.
Oh my
Please. These
goodness.
people, our own people, are taking up for the other cell. It's crazy.
Not we're making sense and y'all are not making sense. That's what we're trying to get
What do
y'all
you
to
How
mean
are
understand.
we
they're
not
making
Y'all are
making
not
plenty of
sense?
making
sense?
sense.
They're telling you.
No,
Hold,
y'all
They're
are not
telling you.
making
hold on,
sense though.
sister. Let me say this, sister. We are making sense. You, as an individual, you do not understand what we're talking about. That's all. We are making perfect sense. See, me and Skywatcher, me and Casino, we can have a conversation about this. You don't understand. So we are making
And
sense.
completely what you're saying. Believe me when I tell you, I understand completely what you're trying to
Thi-
say. But what you're trying to say makes no sense. We are not prokaryotic cells,
Okay, explain
y'all.
that.
We
Explain
are
that.
not. We
Explain
are
it.
eukaryotic.
Okay, explain
Okay?
it. Okay,
This is
explain it. That's all.
Just because, yes,
Explain that
I
for us,
know I'm
sister.
not defending the white man by far. I'm
Hold
not.
on. No,
Believe me
no.
when I tell you that,
Listen, listen,
okay?
listen. I'm asking you, explain how we are not prokaryotic cells. Explain how we have eukaryotic cells.
Okay. I don't. Okay. I don't want to get into this. I really don't want to get into this. I really don't want to get into this. All
Now
I'm
let's get
Now you
into
don't
it.
want to get into this.
just believe me when I tell you everything that you're saying right now makes no sense. Okay. So
Then
I
why
You,
can't
just
you
why you
back up
got?
your claim?
yeah. We're not gonna
Hold
believe
on,
you.
sir.
That sounds
Sister.
crazy.
Hold on, sister. You're not even answering my question. You just put out some information and you can't even explain it.
look. You invited me on here. I wasn't even
I
trying.
didn't
I was
invite you.
okay
You
talking in.
requested
I was
up.
okay talking in the comments.
You
I was
requested
okay
up.
talking in the comments.
And guess what? You can go back to the comments. I'll put it like that. You got it. Like
Yeah, because she got mad because she couldn't back up her claim, but they talk a lot, but you can't even back up what you're
that's
saying.
what underdeveloped brains, bro.
It's sad. Because how you gonna try to tap
You're
dance that hard, but
emotionally
then you can't
reacting like
even
a
go
child. Can't even hold a conversation. Like that's insane. You're
just like
grown. You're
Stefan.
older than me. Like what? Come on now.
Stefan too. Getting too emotional. We could have had a debate, but
That
you want to just yap before it's your turn.
see,
It's
look,
that
now
simple.
you're requesting up again. I never invited you. I'm gonna let you back up here, but if you got to control the emotions.
And
I'm
let
gonna
me
just
ask
be
her a
honest.
question. Let me ask her a question.
Hold on, brother. Let me
Okay,
just see what she
okay.
said.
Since I'm an underdeveloped brain. Okay, all right, all right, all right. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go.
Okay, I'm gonna ask
All
you
right.
the same question I just asked you. How do so-called black people have eukaryotic cells? I want you to explain that. And don't dodge and try to go over here and over there. Just answer the question.
Brother, wait. Because she said we are not prokaryotic cells. So I would like for her to explain to us what are we then?
Okay, since I'm the underdeveloped one, okay, and we have all these geniuses in here, I would like to ask a question. Okay,
No,
since I'm
answer the
underdeveloped,
questions
okay,
first.
I'm under
You
the
don't
okay,
get to
just
ask a question when you didn't
just
answer the
listen to what I
questions.
just go
It's
about
either
what I'm
that or
saying
get
right now.
dropped.
Just
I'm
go what
gonna
I'm
be
saying right now.
honest.
Just go.
It's either answer the questions or get dropped. Why are you trying to ask us a question? You ain't even answer my
So
question.
I can understand where this conversation can go. That's what I'm trying. You asked me about the eukaryotic cells. Okay, so
You made a
what?
statement.
No, you were
Let's
in the
break it.
comments, sister. First of all, the last time we spoke, the last two
Let's
times
break
we
it down.
spoke,
What is it?
you were not able to even answer the question that you're asking us today.
Hmm.
Okay, respect. Okay, you were in the comments saying that
Trying
we're
to break it
not
down.
prokaryotic cells. So we requested you. You requested up. You request because I didn't send an invite. He didn't send an invite, and I didn't even see the banner showing that Ether sent an invite. You requested up on your own because I said if you disagree, come up and express your frequency, and you requested up. So you said we were not prokaryotic in the comments, and you're saying it up here. What are so-called black people? That's the question. That's a simple question. If we're not prokaryotic, what are we?
Okay. So, as an undeveloped brain, okay, I need to understand what y'all mean by prokaryotic, what y'all mean by eukaryotic. So, what do you mean by prokaryotic cells?
Ma'am, you
Listen,
literally.
what? No, listen to what I'm trying to have a conversation.
You're
Okay.
not.
So
you should
what
engage in a
is
conversation
what is a
on what the
prokaryotic? No,
eukaryotic
in a
cell
simple
is.
term.
What?
In a simple term, what is a prokaryotic cell? In a
You tell
simple
me what
term,
that
what is a
is because
prokaryotic cell?
you said we are not prokaryotic cells, and you said
No,
we have
exactly. In a
eukaryotic cells.
simple term,
You
what
tell
is a prokaryotic
you
cell?
tell
In a
me
simple
because
term,
you said it.
I can't Google and go back and forth. I can't do that because
You
it'll
gotta.
stop me from
That's
talking.
like us
I'm
asking,
done, bro.
because you
I'm
just said,
done.
tell us in simple terms. That's
Oh
us
my
asking you,
God!
tell us the definition
Tell
of
me a
simple
simple
terms.
term of a
That's
prokaryotic
like
cell.
us asking you again,
From
what is the definition of simple terms? It's just gonna keep going back and forth. So just let's, if you already know about prokaryotic cells and eukaryotic cells enough to say that so-called black people are eukaryotic cells, go ahead and explain to us
No,
how
I'm going
so-called black
against
people
what
are
you're
not
saying. I'm
prokaryotic
going against
cell
what you're
organisms.
saying. No, I'm going against what you're saying.
We
Us
don't.
being
Cool.
prokaryotic. That's
Okay,
what I'm going
why?
against.
She drunk, man.
Why?
She drunk.
So that's what. No, I'm not drunk.
No, but
What?
but
So
but
Explain
but
what a
okay.
eukaryotic
Let me
cell
bring
is.
down. All right, hold on, hold
just
on.
Explain what a
Everybody talking.
eukaryotic cell
Let's calm
is.
it down.
That's all you have to do.
Yeah.
That's
okay.
all you have
Do
to
you
do is
mind
explain
me
to us
going?
what a
Do you
eukaryotic
mind me
cell
going
is.
getting a definition?
All right, so everybody was talking at the same time. Let's not do that no more. One at a time. We all grown. So stop talking over people. And if you're not being talked to, don't speak. Simple as that. So I'm gonna go ahead and unmute the sister, and I want you to explain or answer the questions that we've been asking. If you can't, I'm gonna just go ahead and drop you because you're not contributing to the conversation.
Okay, I can talk.
Go ahead.
Okay. All right. So I'm going to look for what, because from what I think prokaryotic cells is, what I've read, what I've learned about them, are germs and stuff like that. Why you would want to be considered a germ is beyond me, but that's what is known for prokaryotic cells. So let me go get a definition.
That's the thing. You're trying to contribute to a conversation you know nothing about. You have to go back and forth to Google to even try to stay inside of the conversation.
Isn't that what y'all been
That's
doing? I mean, I've been
ridiculous.
seeing a whole bunch of people
No,
pulling up stuff from Google like a few minutes ago.
I haven't even hopped off the app. We have not been doing that. We actually read. You're going on Google to
Right.
try to contribute to the conversation.
Yeah, because I don't spend my days reading up on eukaryotic cells. I got a job that I go to every
And
day
so
that
you
has
work
nothing
for
to
the
do with that.
eukaryotic cell because you don't understand the function of your cell. You don't even know who you are on a quantum. You don't understand energy, so you don't know how to manipulate it. So you work for the white man. So that's why. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? You don't know thyself is what you just told 140.
Actually, no, I do know
You don't
myself,
understand
and
that
I have the
eukaryotic
degrees to
cells are
prove
viruses.
it.
You're actually using you as the
I have the
prokaryotic
degrees
cells
to prove it. Do you have the degrees?
Sister, I literally just
you're
said stop
using you.
over talking. Stop over talking them. They're trying to talk, and you keep over talking, laughing,
No,
doing
she's
all
trying
this.
to throw
Mute
shade.
yourself if you
Don't throw
cannot control
shade at
yourself.
me
Okay.
because I have the degrees.
Like I said, mute yourself if you cannot control yourself. You're grown. You're older than both of us, or all three of us.
I am
That's the
very
thing.
grown. I'm very
Yeah,
grown.
you're
I'm
very
grown.
grown, and you're over
So
talking
respect
like
your
a
elders.
child. So stop.
Respect your elders.
Who? Okay.
Yeah, this.
Okay.
This is just someone who's just
So
usurping.
stop throwing shade.
So I'm gonna go ahead, abundance and gratitude.
Abundance,
Like
sister.
I'm
Abundance
not,
and gratitude.
you know what I'm saying? Like we gave that. Like, come on. So again, where did the eukaryotic organism come from? Altered. You do you have an explanation? Because you're the only person up here, like of the opposite species, with all due respect. So, were you able to grasp the conversation for the last 2 hours and or however long it's been? And can you tell us how you feel now? We just want to check in with you.
Yeah. So what was the question?
She literally just asked.
Yeah, I had things going on my phone, so it muted the TikTok. Can you please repeat it?
You came off mute laughing like you already knew what she
Just said
said.
yes, but okay.
Okay.
I do have other people in the house, so while I was on mute, I was listening.
It's fine.
Please
Also, we
repeat.
were just checking in with you, trying to see how you feel about the conversation. You've been up here for a while. Wanted to see if you had anything else to add.
No, I believe there's a lot of confusion and mixed truths here, but like this picture, you do know it's a group match test, right?
What's the confusing part and the and what are you saying that we're confusing? Because I
That
recall me asking you like 3 questions that you couldn't answer. So
I did answer, you just didn't accept my
no, you
answer.
didn't know the answer. And you never answered the question. I asked you how we went from haploids to diploids.
And I told you, mutations, successful
Explain
mutations.
explain the mute telling me mute
You
okay,
can't.
haploid to diploid is the mutation. That's
Yes,
the supposed so
yes.
you're just saying mutation and I'm asking like
Well,
And
I know that.
because
The whole thing is
last
a
time we went through
mutation. So
this,
how did the mutation occur?
yeah, how did
last
that
time we
mutation?
went through
How did?
this, wait, please let me
Hold on, hold
respond.
on, hold on. How did that mutation occur when that which is natural cannot change unless something natural takes place to it?
So you're asking for that specific response.
Bro, these niggas be playing semantics and be running, bro.
All right, man. All right, I'll give you flat out without, someone hopping up every 4 second or 4 words. So a genetic mutation and or lack of material to rewrite the mRNA successfully. That's the whole response. I can get into it in detail, but I mean, you're confusing chemicals with actual cellular structure.
No. We said, how did the eukaryotic organism get here? You said
And
mutation.
I told you by
The
mutation, so
eukaryotic
something had to
organism,
mutate.
altered. The eukaryotic organism is a mutation.
Yes,
So
and
you're
it can
answering
continue
my
to
question
mutate.
by saying the same thing.
All right,
Yeah,
and how something
How
mutates
did
is it
the
does.
mutation take place?
Can
because
I answer?
because prokaryotic
Yeah,
cells cannot undergo mutation. That's what I just said.
facts.
That which is natural cannot change unless something unnatural takes place to it. You see what I'm saying? So prokaryotic cells cannot mutate into something by moving into a colder climate. Because if you look up prokaryotic cells, they're able to live in all types of conditions, move through all elements of life. Eukaryotic cells, y'all are new to the planet. So she's asking, how do we go from being prokaryotic cells, being autotroph people on the planet, to now moving into a colder climate and now having multiple animal genetic material from different animals that cannot naturally reproduce with each other into one organism, you.
He don't know how to work the mute button. I've been having to help him all day.
Like 2 minutes. How long does a cell live?
Wait,
Just give me like 2 minutes. Let me lead you through the process. How long does a cell live?
which cell are we talking about? Are we
Just
talking
any
about
cell.
immortal cells? Let's go. Let's talk about totipotent stem cells, please.
Any cell, mammal, any being that has a cell besides divine, and we're talking human terrestrial. How long does a cell live?
How long does a prokaryotic cell live?
Yes, how long does a prokaryotic cell live?
Right. So a prokaryotic cell, again, a totipotent stem cell. We can
Is
just
forever,
go.
eternal? 2 days, a week? How long?
Are they not 7 to 10 days? A
All right,
cell,
and then what
and
happens
then
after
what?
10 or 10 days?
And
In
then
order to survive, it rewrites a
and then
copy of
it,
itself.
okay,
Every
okay.
rewriting of a copy
It's a
is
copy
not
based off of
successful,
what though?
and then that is a mutation.
Altered. That is not a mutation. That is cell replication. That is something that is coded in the genetic material based off
And
of
what happens?
how altered. Because your name is speaking volumes here. All right. Because when we're
Let's have
talking
a real
about
conversation.
replication of a cell, how a cell replicates
No,
is
no, no,
based
no.
off
You're
of
not
the
letting me.
genetic.
Hey, if we're speaking over each other, we can't have a conversation. So you're trying to
We're
speak,
not having a conversation. We're having
manipulate
a
what she's trying
monologue.
to say, and not allowing
Bro.
her to flow. So
No, I literally said multiple times, stop talking over people, and you keep doing it, bro.
Yes, because I'm just trying to get a simple point across.
I
A
don't
mutation
care.
is when a
Don't
cell
talk over
does
people
not
while they're
rewrite itself successfully.
don't talk over people while they're talking. It's that simple, bro. You're a grown man.
When a cell replicates based off of the genetic material that it has, it will replicate a certain way. So again, are we talking about prokaryotic cells or eukaryotic cells? Because those are two completely different types. They hold two completely different types of genetic material. They will not replicate the same. Bro, I'm not even gonna start up with Alter. He can't figure out the mute button. I would just say Papa
But
Doc.
I am. I was just waiting for you to finish. So do all of the cells 100% of the time replicate correctly 100%?
In prokaryotic cells, yes. Because there's no extra genetic material to trip it off to cause a mutation.
So
exactly.
It's just
100%.
copying itself.
And so-called
Yes.
black people never had diseases,
I
cancers
don't.
until we
Sickle
chemically,
cell,
until
bro.
we chemically,
Prostate
hold on,
cancer.
Bro,
hold on, until we chemically came into contact with you. We never had that. We had a global civilization on the planet, and so-called black people were procreating with each other, and we didn't have no hemolytic disease, no zoonotic disease, no type of sickle cell, no Tay-Sachs disease, no neurological problem. We had nothing until we came into contact with y'all. That's when our people started to undergo started to undergo a rebellious hemolysis, which allows parasites and diseases to take place.
and like Indy just said in the chat, cells don't mutate into weaker cells. So again, when
They
we're
do by degradation.
Let her finish, bro. What's up with you?
I'm done talking to Altered, bro. It's just me. Anybody else, but I'm done talking to him.
Talk to him. I got a quick question. So you feel like we the same, right? Author.
All right. I believe we are made of the same things. We are not identical.
Do
We
y'all
are
have
the same
neuromelanin?
species. Yes, but not in the way you do.
And what's the difference, the relevant difference?
You express it through hormones and other processes while we don't have the same levels. It is not expressed the same way.
So what's the relevant difference between white people and black people, quote unquote?
There's none. Genetically, we are made of the same thing. We are expressed differently.
So why is melanin important?
There's many reasons, but it is to protect your skin.
From what?
The sun, specifically the UVB band.
So does the sun give life to people, organisms, yes or no? The sun give life on
Some,
Earth?
but generally, yes.
Okay.
Generally, yes.
So why are y'all enemies of the thing that gives life, for one?
SLC 25A5 specifically.
How many types of melanin are there?
What did he say?
Like 8 or 9.
I didn't hear him.
And which ones pertain to so-called humans?
That part I do not know. I know there's 4. I know of maybe 3 or 4.
There's 3 that pertain to so-called humans. So if there are 3 different types of melanin, the type of DNA that you have is explaining the type of melanin you have. How
No, the DNA is expressing, and the expression is melanin.
expression because of what? Genetic material, which is genotype, right? Which is directly connected to phenotype. That's what gene expression is, right?
But that's
Yes or no?
genomics. Genetics.
Okay,
Wait,
but
please.
again, I just have a question, Alter.
Go
If you
ahead.
are pheomelanated and I am neuromelanated, are we composed of the same biochemical substance?
Like, no.
If you are, thank you. So if
We,
so,
but
how
we
come-
are made of the same
Alter,
things that.
wait, because
I got
you
you.
haven't answered any of my questions, and you're confusing everything that I'm saying. So I'm just taking it one at a time.
You got to keep it very simple with them.
Yeah, I am, and it's sad because we already taught the world. So I shouldn't even have to teach you this because I'm the reason why you're on 2 feet right now. So again, when it comes to pheomelanin, that is pseudomelanin versus neuromelanin. So why would your genetics need to protect you from the sun, but the biochemical substance that I secrete before I'm even born, that's produced in you're born with your pineal gland calcified, so you're not even producing neuromelanin. Again, that is the only molecule that can condense sunlight and is condensed sunlight. That's what's through my entire integumentary system. That's what's through my entire body. So if I'm absorbing the sun, why the fuck is your melanin protecting you from it? When the sun, just like the brother just said, sun gives life to all organisms. Why is 500,000 of your people being unalive by the sun every single year? Why? Since 2019. Really 2015, because UVC radiation has been ground level since then, which is a germ unaliving, gene mutating, detoxifying wavelength. You think that number hasn't increased exponentially, and that's not the reason why the Asians who predate you, which is the reason why you're called Caucasian, you think that's not the reason why they're going sterile and why the fuck everything is being shut down for them? You think the people that's in the same genome as you, known as the Dravidians, you think that's not the reason why they're going through the same shit, and you think you're not up next?
I thought this was a question, not a monologue.
Yeah, because you can't answer a simple question on how we
I've
went
answered
from
everyone.
You haven't explained to me. Haploid to diploid is the mutation.
Yes.
Right. So you're answering my question by saying mutation. That's what the fuck you're saying to me.
And I'm explaining it, and you go off.
Bro, okay. Again, answer my original question.
Every time I explain, I get muted.
Altered. Let's just go back.
Let's go back.
I'm going to do this one last time, and I'm done. Why are you a pheomelanated man when that biochemical substance does not biologically identify with this planet? If your melanin, here's the question, okay? If your melanin protects you from the sun, how come mine absorbs it and I am able to biosynthesize that sun through my integumentary system and through my hair, also known as ether? Why is the sun doing different shit for us? Why is your genetics doing different shit? That's what I'm trying to say. If we're
Because
the same.
all genes do not rewrite 100% successful 100% of the time. That's why you have deformities at birth when none have existed. So there are occasions where a cell does not rewrite correctly and it tries to fix itself before cell death. And then that is the main rewriter after that cell's death. So if that did not rewrite 100% exact, then you have what is called a mutation. And over thousands of years, our mutation has become.
It sounds like you lost connection, but
which is it no longer produces the melanin that activates your skin.
You're saying genetic mutation.
That is the
and that's
answer.
Fine. The question is, I also asked you how we went from haploid to diploid, and again, there is no scientist or historian on this planet that can answer that question, but somehow you on a TikTok panel can. So if you're saying genetic mutation, just as a normal YT man. You think the scientists that share the same genetic composition haven't already explored that and debunked that all within the same sentence? All within the same transaction? So there is actually no way you can tell us how we went from haploid to diploid, because nobody in this world,
Have you
that is
asked
the
them?
number one question every day. How the fuck did y'all get here? That's what this whole thing is about, bro. That's what this whole thing is about. How the fuck
And it
did
would
y'all
be a
come out of
mutation.
caves? First of all, how did y'all get to the caves? Like you said, 8,000 years ago, right? At the top of the live, you said 8,000 years ago. You said white skin. You said
No,
white skin.
no.
You said the white skin is what you
40,000
said.
and
You
then
went to play
8.
8,000 years ago. Okay, thank you. I
Yeah.
just needed you to say yes. And when you said, so I'm gonna go. I say less than 10,000. I'll take your 8, even though I'm pushing more towards 6 to 7,000. So again, let me ask you a question. Why did y'all come out of the caves on all fours with hypertrichosis, vestigial tails, not able to speak or reproduce less than 8,000 fucking years ago? And now you're trying to tell me, I share biological identification with this planet and every single fucking landmass here. You don't even share biological identification with the cave, babe. Explain to me how y'all got here though. Like that. I want to hear you say that y'all were on all fours with hypertrichosis. I want to see what you look like without shaving for a month. That's your hypertrichosis. Y'all are still being born like this today.
And that's gene expression from the pheomelanin, the DNA that you have.
Like literally, I went to school. 3 niggas in my class had to have their tail cut. I'm in my 20s. Y'all are still being born with vestigial tails. It was a sister that was in my live, 3 weeks ago? She's a nurse. She's telling us that y'all are being born with tails. She's like a nurse that be assisting during birth.
So that would be a mutation, right?
Where did you come from, though? Where did you mutate from?
Yeah, where did you mutate from?
So I mutated from the chromosome 23 pair.
Every single last one of y'all in your entire incomplete dominant genome, all of y'all, so-called Mexicans, Dravidians, Asians, all came from that chromosome, is what you're saying? Hello? Hello?
Whoa, calm down, sister.
There
is a possibility. Yes,
answer them questions. No fuck.
I am, but you know what? You got to think real careful on a panel of hostile people.
Nobody's hostile. You're the one hostile.
All right.
Genetics is real hostile.
Under that sun, huh?
Yeah, down here in lovely Florida.
Is the sun hostile? Yes or no?
Skywatcher. You know the last one that came out?
No.
You know the last
No,
one?
bro.
Hello?
All right, hold up.
No, what?
Yo, Skywatcher. You know the last
Yo, no, nigga. We dealing with something right now. Hold on for a second.
Troy, I'm gonna get straight to you after this. I got you. Just hold on.
Why did y'all come out of caves on all fours, Alter? That's what I want to know.
I don't subscribe to Pan-Africanism. I do science.
I do science too. I don't subscribe to your so-called Africanism either, because my people not so-called African. Y'all call them that.
Well, that's what peer-reviewed science is for. We can just read it.
Well, exactly, which is I've read would you like for me to pull up the sources from 2007, how they took the graft of 2 Neanderthal brains and created 2 clones to your species? They're doing this shit every day. I would
like you to pull up the
Would you like for me
revered
to
stuff.
turn my camera on and show you my library? Fuck is wrong with you? Explain to me why y'all came out of caves, Altered. That's the last time I'm gonna ask. After that,
Where did y'all mutate from?
Yeah, facts, bro.
That's all we want to know, because y'all didn't mutate from prokaryotic cells. Eukaryotic cells, y'all didn't mutate from prokaryotic cells.
Yeah, niggas.
So where did y'all
about
mutate from?
Other
So
shit.
you're saying that
Yes,
you said we don't have.
Mm-hmm.
You said we don't have a cell in a membrane.
Bro,
What are you talking
Eukaryotic
about?
cell, a cell with a membrane.
So
it is a cell with a nucleus as well, too.
yes,
Yeah.
so-called black people, we don't have internal membranes or organelles. We don't have none of that. Everything is programmed by our neuromelanin.
So what is your
Y'all are,
immune
y'all are
system?
the one with y'all are the one with miniature brains and miniature organelles from different organisms that cannot
That's
naturally
cool.
produce with each
That
other.
may be true, but why do vaccines for white people and black people work? That
What do you
shouldn't
mean?
happen under
So
here.
let's talk about the most recent one that's being talked about all over the world with
I mean, it shouldn't
okay,
happen. One or the other.
hush, because I want to talk about that, and if the host will allow me, because JFK Jr. literally just said to the sister, okay, to the sister that so-called black people needed to receive a lesser I'm gonna try to be careful that schedule than everybody else because of what the type of antigens that we have, which is what a substance that surrounds our cells, a foreign substance that surrounds our cells. Okay, that's even proof that we're not producing animal protein. So again, you're bringing that up. You just feel you.
Yep,
Hold on,
and
it's 5 o'clock.
they said, oh, so-called black people, they need less antigens for their immune system to be stronger.
Fuck you
So we need
mean?
less antigens. So where do these foreign substances come from? You see what I'm saying?
Hmm?
And then we look what y'all been doing to us for these last 2,000 or 4,000 years. What have
Can
y'all
I
been
say
doing?
something real quick?
Grape was legalized by your people, and what you do
That's not
to
part of the
our
question.
women and children.
Why were you raping our children as early as 2 hours old?
3 seconds old. What were you adding to their bloodstream?
Why was grape
To their red
legalized
blood cells.
by your people?
They ain't my people. My people are 99 and above. Like, that's when I was born.
Yeah.
Like, what happened in the past?
Yeah,
Nothing to do
incomplete
with me.
dominance.
But,
So go ahead and
let's go
explain.
back. Let's go back.
Why are y'all
If
on
a
all fours?
vaccine works on both, that means you are of the same species.
No, it don't. No, it don't.
That is not
Yeah, it does.
Yo,
A vaccine should not work.
Can I say something now? All right, for one thing, y'all, the last Caucasian came out the mountains in the 1920s in Tulsa, Oklahoma. If you don't believe me, you can look it up. You got a white guy to let you know that he actually came out the caves. Another thing is, they came out with vaccines because they was giving us these vaccines. They were shooting us up with diseases that came from y'all. What do you think? I forgot what the name of it that was going on back in the 40s all the way up to the 70s. Whatever diseases that y'all had, they was buying up these diseases and shooting us up with it, and to see if we can if our bodies can cure ourselves. That's what the vaccines was given to us. It was straight diseases, straight from
100 years and all these new diseases, that's like a record in evolution.
No, it's not. It's the truth. All these diseases came from y'all. What are you talking about?
Yep.
In 100 years?
98% of the venereal diseases comes from zebrafish, which is what y'all are mostly spliced with. You see what I'm saying? And that's why in the 1900s, y'all went into Africa and was injecting so-called BOK women with monkey semen. You see what I'm saying? And that was actually causing red blood cell hemolysis and zoonotic disease and adding antigens. You see what I'm saying? That was what's going on. Y'all don't want to talk about what y'all really did on the planet. Y'all don't want to talk about that 100% of y'all jobs was built on our genocide and abuse. Y'all don't want to talk about that, but y'all just want to live.
Let's get back to the topic.
No, okay, let's get back to the topic. Where did you
Are
come
you
from?
made of
Where did your
ATC and G?
fucking ass come from then?
ATC and G, boy. ATC
Nah,
and G.
you ain't ATC and G.
ATC
No,
and G.
nigga. You didn't come from ATC and G.
ATC
You came from pig, chimpanzee, and
Which is
monkey.
which
Nigga,
is
that's where
made
you
of
came
what?
from.
ATC
That's
and
where
G.
you came
You're made of
from.
ATC and G.
PAVES.
They came from the Reese monkey.
You don't have see the thing is you don't biologically identify with no landmass, with no solar system, with no galaxy, with no universe, with no nothing, no cave. The cave doesn't even know you. You see what I'm saying? The only origin that y'all have is these different animal genetics. Before that, there was no record of you. You were a new organism on the planet.
And when y'all procreate with each other, that creates a whole new species.
Facts.
So that's why when niggas was saying something in the chat about so-called Hispanics, them Cubanos is a whole nother species, the newest species on this planet.
So
What,
for
they
my
come
brothers,
around in the 50s?
So for my brothers and sisters, when we start seeing these people outside, we can't let them walk around thinking that they native to this planet. We got to start questioning these people. What is your biological identification to the planet? And we got to start asking amongst ourselves, Why do we send 25 million of our children to be psychologically evaluated by the same species that fed us to crocodiles? So I got a violation. You see what I'm saying?
Oh
F1
my
in the chat.
gosh, bro.
F1 in the chat.
Bro, if they take me down, I have a backup that I'm gonna switch to Ether. No worries.
Oh yeah, I already followed it. I got you.
Yeah, we both have it. We both have one.
Okay,
I
bet.
just want to add on about them vaccinations real quick too. It's our melanin that's protecting us from those free radicals, and they are actually unaliving us, depending on how much toxins that we're putting in our bodies with that. So our melanin is protecting us while we taking those type of shots.
Abundance for that, brother.
Abundance.
It's for that.
Alter, we're gonna go ahead and move on to the next person. I come back.
Casino?
Oh,
Hey,
I
brother,
wasn't
that's
initially
a.
speaking though.
Hey, I gotta give it to that brother for saying that though, because I've been meaning to say something about that shit, about another fact that I found that we discovered the other day. So you just fueled me, and I'm abundance, brother, and gratitude.
All right, your abundance, sister. Gratitude.
Glad to help out.
Ricky, go ahead,
You
Ricky.
get it though, Alter. Did you get
Scott, I just want to let you know I appreciate your knowledge. I've been researching this for quite some time, and I would like you to repeat certain terms and things that you've said because I can further my study on the origin of white people. Because I've been looking too from the things that you've already exposed and just conversating with the guy that was arguing with you a few minutes ago. So it was like you said some things about them coming out the caves and like scientific names and stuff. So would you mind expounding a little bit? So because I'm late to the room. I'm just trying to catch up.
So like,
Like why are they hairy? You said they were born with tails. I kind of knew that.
wait. So I heard you say that you already have done your research. So what do you know? And then I can probably.
As early back, I know that we just kept them. I don't know how they got to the caves, but I believe that they are the people of Tartaria, and that the Egyptians and the African civilizations built the wall of China to try to keep them on that side of the planet, kind of. I just want to know how they got there, and because you said they were in the caves, they were hairy. You gave a scientific name for their genome and
Yeah,
stuff
but
like
I
that.
didn't say hairy, brother. I said
Oh,
hypertrichosis. So that's why I'm asking.
there we go.
Did you already know that, or did you Google it and then find out?
Oh no, I'm listening to you now. I'm just this is my first time hearing the word hypertrichosis. So that's kind of one of the words I wanted you to repeat so I can further my research from there. Hypertrichosis and the tails, I knew about the tails. I didn't know it was that prevalent. I thought it was like once every blue moon. But I'm just here to, basically soak in parts of the conversation that I could use. I'm glad you guys are having this conversation because I've had this question for about the last 10 years now.
Ricky, where do you think they came from?
Well, as far back, the Egyptians don't really explain where they come from, but I kind of agree with Minister Farrakhan with where they were genetically kind of on the island of Patmos, where someone was brutal enough to basically exterminate all of the dark-skinned babies and kind of push that gene of the lighter skinned baby. Somebody had to be brutal enough to actually murder black babies. And that's where I believe all that Baal sacrifice and Moloch sacrifice came into play, because they had to desensitize people to all that mass murdering of babies.
All right,
So it became normal, and they made a religion out of it, and it was okay once they was feeding into Moloch and Baal and all these.
Okay. So
That's my
are you
theory.
saying that they stem from us?
Oh yeah, I think that they come from us, just kind of like our worst part.
Okay. Let's just stop there. So how do they stem from us then?
That's why I'm listening to you guys, because I'm trying to figure that out for myself, for real. How do they come from us? Because I believe that we are albino as well. I believe we contain the full genome of the human species, so to
Yeah,
speak.
the so-called black woman can make all 48 shades, but albinos are still so-called black people. They're still neuromelanated. So my thing is, these people they produce no neuromelanin and they possess animal DNA. How did that happen? Because so-called black people, we have no animal DNA.
My theory. This is only a theory because I'm.
Now I don't need theories. I need facts, brother.
Oh, I don't. No one has that. No one has. If someone, that's why I'm here to listen, because if someone has those facts, that's kind of what everyone's looking for. You know what I mean? Because other than that, we getting it from Dr. Malachi York. We getting it from Minister Farrakhan. We getting it from the Bible. We getting it from the Egyptian
I'm not
writings.
getting it from any of those people though.
Oh, so where do you get your information?
From reading.
Oh yeah, I read too. I'm talking about reading all of those things. I read a whole.
No, I'm trying to find. I find truth myself. You feel what I'm saying? I'm not going off of what Malachi Z. York or whoever else you just said.
Did he say the Bible?
Yeah, I said the Bible. I said it's because it's nuggets of truth in all of it. You just kind of gotta sift it out like you do gold. You know what I mean? Like they sift out gold out the water. You kind of gotta sift out the parts that you can historically apply and the parts that don't really apply.
From your research, how can you splice neuromelanin? Because you believe these people came from us. How can you splice neuromelanin?
No, I'm not sure, but I'm just led to believe that they are.
See, that's the thing, brother. We got to stop believing. We got to start knowing. You feel what I'm saying? Because there's children that are listening. You feel what I'm saying?
I know. I mean, this is my thing. God, the creator of all things, like the creator of this universe, the organizer, whatever you want to call them, they can mate with us. They can reproduce with us. So it's like somehow
It's multiple of them.
There has to be some way where they fit into our, because we can reproduce together. Like I can't reproduce with a dog. You know what I mean? So it's like somewhere in the genome, they are a part of us if we can reproduce together. That's my theory, that they have to be if we can reproduce.
That theory will be debunked by the Rogaine shot, brother, and aggression.
Yeah.
We don't naturally mate with them, bro. I'm just stating that. We don't naturally, what you see, the doctor there, that's a cover up. We don't naturally, can procreate with them. It's not a natural occurrence, is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, and the thing is, when they were very first created, they couldn't even reproduce amongst themselves. So if they came from us, then that would mean we would be naturally able to reproduce with them, but they wasn't even able to reproduce amongst themselves.
And
one more time, how can you splice neuromelanin?
I want to ask you, where did you get that information that they couldn't mate with each other? Where are you finding so that I can delve into that?
I'll go by the Sumerian text, the oldest creation story, and then you
Enki and
genetics books.
Yeah, I was ready to say that too. Also,
you start to understand those creation stories a little bit more.
Oh, the Enki and Enlil stories.
No, it's just when you look at everything, it's not one certain thing that you can just get information from. It's a collective amount of research. That's why the brother is talking about introgression. He's talking about genetics. He's talking about just comparing genetic material. Like, you see what I'm saying? That's why you can't go based off of what someone else is saying. You have to do your research because their scientists and their historians are saying there's no explanation for how they got here. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, because they don't want to say they was spliced with dogs and basically like a weaker part of us. They don't really want to expose that. They want to say they was here first. Mesopotamia originated everything. So they want to cling to that. So they got to make their origins a mystery. Like if you notice the Sea Peoples, the first arrival of white people, the Sea Peoples in 1177 BC, to this day, they say they don't know where they came from and they don't know where they went to. But these people existed and they caused a war that lasted 50 years. The biggest war in the history of the world. The Battle of Karnak with Ramses II, 1177 BC. And they just disappeared from history. No one knows where they came from and no one knows where they went. So I think white people are trying to cover up their origins. And it's up to us to kind of decipher it. That's why I'm talking to you guys to try to get some clarity.
They're actually not. That's the thing, brother. They're actually not. And it's not just white tea people. That's what I was gonna say, because I know a Dravidian professor that has over 1,400 publications related to introgression and hybridization, and 800 of them are introgression and talking about their creation story, how
Oh
they
no,
changed
I don't mean all of them.
All right,
Hold
all
I don't
right.
mean
So Ricky, when somebody's speaking, you don't speak over them. You gotta wait till they're done.
I was just trying to say they are not the same amongst themselves, so there will be several creation stories. Just like when you look at the animals, there are several creation stories for these animals because they are not natural, the ones that they're spliced with. So it's a collective amount of research that you have to do. It's not one person, one book, one source, one. It's me and the co-host that's sitting next to me. This is a 10 years worth of research, books, lectures. I mean, just collective amount of research. It's just, what are you choosing to research? A lot of people just choose to go based off of what they hear and then only explore that. Well, that's somebody else's. That's what believing mean. It has the word lie in it.
Yeah.
But when you know, that comes through research and tapping in and knowing thyself. Because I meditate and the information comes to me first, and then I'm led to where to go because I align myself with authenticity. So I don't just use Google. I'm not a Google warrior. I don't condone that. I don't think anybody should just ask for a source. To be honest, there's a lot of my followers in here too. That shit pisses me off when y'all ask me in my comments for a source, because by the time you ask and type in the comments, can I have a source? You could already found one. I put all keywords into a video and you're like, oh, can you post a source? Why? Why are you asking me to find a source that I found through my perception instead of trying to find your own? We got to stop doing that. You see what I'm saying? So when the host, whenever he be hosting these lives, it's for people that understand speciation. It's not for people that don't know and are trying to get information so they can go to another live and talk. And I'm not saying you're doing that, but it's for people that know.
oh, no, I don't even have a live. I don't have a channel,
Yeah,
so I just
I wasn't talking about you, brother. I was really just stating in general, but
oh no, but
can't
I
go
love this
inside.
conversation though. I love this conversation because you guys are filling in a few blanks.
And if I could add on to Skywatcher too, right? A lot of people got to realize you have to cleanse your vessel. If your vessel is not clean, you're not going to be able to take in the light to even understand what we're talking about. You feel what I'm saying? So this comes with meditation because you are the key. You and your melanin is the key to this, but you have to get sunlight. You have to eat properly, or you're still packing on animal antigens and things that'll leave you distraught. You feel what I'm saying? Is that coming out right? Like you're not going to pick up on this
Adding
frequency.
antigens, he's right. Your
Gotta eat
your
them electric
meridians are
foods.
clogged, right? Your meridians are clogged, brain fog, clogged arteries. When your body is clogged, there's no way you can perceive the truth because you're not even, as a sentient being, you're not even able to pull in information from the universe properly because your integumentary system is clogged, right? You can't actually hear the universe. You can't hear her resonance. So when you study her resonance, you're not going to be able to make a connection, which is the reason why people say, I don't believe that. I don't believe. Well, if you know, you can only know by cleaning your vessel, which means that you need to understand what to put in it. What is its genetic composition?
And you
That's
will
what,
and you will see that everything is right in your face.
facts,
People
right
are like, oh, I don't know
there.
everything, I don't know, but it's literally right in your face.
There. That's the
Okay,
thing.
this is
It's just how cloudy and foggy are those lenses that you call your eyes. That's just
I have
how
a question.
All right, hey Ricky, after your question, I do want to get to Andrika because she's
All
been
right.
waiting for a little minute. So yeah, you can go ahead and ask your question real quick though.
All right. You mentioned the Sumerian text and Enki. You said the Sumerian text, but I was wondering, is Enki and Enlil, were they responsible for genetic science experiments? Because I thought that they were the ones that kind of like, sectioned off the genes, spliced them with dogs and pigs, and they had the knowledge to be able to genetically manipulate our bodies, the human beings that make white people. So I'm just trying to figure out,
So yeah,
where.
that goes back when I asked you how can you splice neuromelanin. these entities could never splice so-called black people because neuromelanin, in order to splice a cell, you have to use UV light. And you can't splice our cells because the neuromelanin that coats our cells naturally just absorbs that UV light. So we can never be spliced.
Got you. So
But
where did they come from then? If they can't be spliced from us,
Electrical fusion, introgression.
And yeah, Enki Enlil he has a lot of names to depict one. It's just all of these religious texts: Enki, Enlil, Pindar, Moloch, Yakub,
Yahweh,
Jesus, Jews. All is all depicting one intelligent life form on the planet that has been here on the planet, and that's why they've been lying to us, thinking that so-called humans are the only so-called intelligent life forms on the planet. When it's in reality, there's been other so-called extraterrestrial life that's been on the planet, and it's all depicting one person. You see what I'm saying? And he lives in Rupert's Niagara, Black Rock. And this is where he's trafficking most of our women and children, because that's the highest mountain in the north, and the highest mountain throughout the whole planet, and it touches the magnetic dome. So this gives him so-called immortality because he gets to pull energy from the earth, which is another form of the so-called black woman, and now he pulls energy from the actual black woman with her tryptophan stem cells and her children. This is what's happening.
so who is this he that we?
hold on. Let me
Oh.
explain Drika first.
All right, my bad.
I swear I just said it, you know what I'm saying? But I don't know what you're still confused on.
No, you said he.
I say he has many names. All of these names is just talking about one person.
Yeah.
Oh, Enki. I got you.
Right.
Go ahead, Andrika.
Oh, it's pronounced Ardrika, but thank you, guys, for your time up here, and hello to everybody. I'm not gonna say nothing that's too far off from what's already been said, but what I will say is I've been reading a little bit more, and like you were just expressing that there is, Yakub, Jesus, all these different names that people say that they come from. What I've been kind of researching and knowing so far is that they were talking about the Pleiadians. Apparently there was some form of a war that happened here however long ago. And I don't know if you guys ever read about the Pleiadians or anything of that sort, but they basically have this thing where they like to take over lands and take over worlds or wherever, all over the galaxy, if there isn't such thing as a space, but that's neither here nor there. But so basically they were saying that these people needed someone that could actually cohabitate here on this earth. So they genetically spliced a group of people, and unfortunately they did not survive. They needed something else to be able to survive here, and that's where the mixing came into place later on upon with black people. But I kind of wanted to dabble, I guess, ask y'all questions, kind of bounce off a little bit of ideas to see what y'all think. I saw somebody in the comments say this too, but how do y'all feel about blood types? Like, what is your outlook on blood types in terms of O supposedly being the original and A and B being something that is, of course, a mutation from mixing?
All blood types are. Oh, you can go ahead if you want to answer that, Casino.
My bad. I thought Scott was going to get it. Go ahead, Scott. I like it when she hit him off with that shit.
Oh yeah, she can go if she want to, for sure.
Blood types are for breeding purposes only. So when it comes to O positive blood, zooborn chimps have that as well. Again, it's just describing the type and the amount of antigens that you have. That's what the blood type is explaining.
Yeah, and pigs have O blood types as well. Great apes have O blood types as well. A lot of animals have O blood types. You see what I'm saying? So even the Rh factor, which is determining how if the blood type is negative or positive within the 8 main blood types, that it just comes from animals as well, because that is a protein, is an animal protein, which is the Rhesus monkey protein. So so-called black people, like we've been saying, we don't produce animal proteins. So all of their blood types are just pertaining to animals. It's just all talking about animal
Well, not
DNA.
necessarily for them, but I'm speaking in terms of where do you see it? I guess maybe my question isn't clear. I understand relatively what blood is used for and what, you know, I know the whole scope of it, but I'm asking you guys for your perception on how, when of course A is considered the antigen of blood, and then of course with B, we get into, darn it, I'm missing the word here. What type it is. Darn it, I'm missing it. I guess in other words, what do you think in all of that? So you're saying that we share blood, similar blood with all each other, or like?
No, I'm saying that we have antigens in our bloodstream,
Right.
on our red blood cells, which is a foreign substance, and how they got there is through graping that the Asian man, the Arab man, and the white tea man all put upon us. You see what I'm saying? For the last 4,000 to 2,000 years, this is what happened, and the food that we're eating today is pig. The main things that so-called black people eat today is pig, um, chicken, and cow, and that's the main things these people are spliced with. So that adds on to the antigens, and then now it seems like we have the same blood times when in this reality we have antigens, and that's not supposed to be in our bloodstream. You see what I'm saying? In reality, we actually have sun blood. Our blood is just made from the sun because that's our genetic material.
So you're saying, in other words, that even though we may are classified as O, B, A, you know, all of those things, even though we're classified as that, you're saying that just specifically when it comes to black people, we have the antigens, but because of the type of the food that we're eating, you're saying that that's what's adding to more of the toxins, which to me, that actually doesn't sound logical, because how are we sharing blood type? I guess I'm a little bit confused. So I want, if
So
you could help
when
me
you
out understand.
Okay,
if you cleanse your body,
okay,
right?
hold on. Before the 12th dynasty, before there was any mixed children, we didn't have any of these blood types in our blood. We didn't share no blood types with any of these animals. You see what I'm saying? We had sun blood.
Mm-hmm.
Facts. This is what we had. But when we started to mingle with these people chemically, you see what I'm saying? Then that started to add antigens because we are two different species. That started to cause red blood cell hemolysis, and they literally gave us zoonotic diseases
Right.
and wiped out 2 continents alone, with many other countries with their phallus and reproductive systems. So this is what we're saying, is that we're not.
When you eat the meat, the same meat that they're spliced with, it adds antigen. So I would advise explore molecular gastronomy, because it's not just food. They use molecular gastronomy in damn near everything. You see what I'm saying? Nanotech. It's also parasites. Parasites also affect the way that you think and perceive the world. So you got to think, if the last 10 to 15 generations are affecting the way you think today, which is a neurological fact, a genetic fact, plus the amount of antigens and the parasites that you're still feeding, and what your mother and the grandmother, like all of it's being passed down through the mitochondria. It's called chemical oppression, cellular oppression. They have to oppress us, or not have to, but for contextual purposes, they have to affect you on a cellular level, micro to macrocosm. So it's about how you feed it. It's been introduced, but every parasite needs a host. So the foreign substance that we're talking about with antigens are still present in our blood the more we continue to feed them. Also, just normal consumption. It's a proven fact. Dr. Layla Africa, what makes black people black? When you feed your neuromelanin like a Caucasian, it diminishes the. So that means subscribing to their system. That means cosmetics. That means doing everything that goes against your genetic makeup diminishes the production of neuromelanin.
Yep. And the hydrochloric acid that we produce in our stomach is not the same acid that they produce in their stomach. Ours is not made to produce, to fermentate raw meat or to break down raw meat. Theirs is. They can eat raw meat and be energized from that. We would not be energized from that. You see what I'm saying? It would start to deteriorate us. And this is where all these cancers would take place, because meat is a carcinogen. You see what I'm saying? And we're not supposed to add that to our blood.
But I was just about to add when it comes to like meats and stuff, because we were talking about pork. But guys, y'all really gotta like research this. Pork and red meats are carcinogens, and you never go. So if y'all want to eat meats, I would really avoid all. I would only try to eat poultry and fish if you're gonna eat meat.
Why?
Now, when it
I don't
comes
want to
to
cut you off, brother, but I wouldn't eat no. We not allowed to eat no meat at all.
Yeah, no meat at all, because 98% of venereal diseases come from zebrafish, and all of the fishes have mercury as well. Which is actually what causes us to deteriorate on the inside or slow down the production of melanin, like you were saying.
Why would we eat
no, this
chicken
is
when a chicken is genetically modified? And a fish is
no.
genetically modified. Most fish that we are consuming today are genetically modified. You're not supposed to consume anything with eyeballs, a tongue, nothing of flesh,
Of course, I'm
live
saying
flesh.
that. Yeah, I'm saying that we just know that red meats, of course, yeah, like they've modified everything with GMOs, all type of hormones, et cetera, right? I'm talking about when it comes to actual like the carcinogens because of the nitrates that they add. I was really about to talk about the butchers and how they add nitrates to preserve. So I was saying you really just shouldn't avoid it, but you shouldn't eat anything modified, obviously. So it's like, it's just a losing game. But I'm just telling people to research it.
Yeah, according to our genetic makeup, we should be eating mainly fruits. So explore what a fruit is too. I would advise because I didn't even know that certain things were fruit. Like a zucchini is a fruit.
Yeah,
You know what I'm
bell
saying?
peppers,
Like
things like that.
bell
Eat that.
pepper
Okra,
is a okra is a fruit. You see what I'm
yeah,
saying? So a lot of stuff that you think is a vegetable is really a fruit, and that's when you that's what my main video on my page was about. There are things that are here. My bad. I'm going off track. Do we answer the question with the blood types? What's going
Oh
on
yeah.
here?
Not necessarily, but I kind of understand where you guys are coming from.
So then,
In a
what do you
yo,
think? Then, like, how are you
yeah.
gonna ask us and then?
What are you still confused on?
Well, the reason I'm asking the question is to get your insight on it, and I'm understanding where you're getting I understand your insight. So that was just the basis of my question. I was trying to gain more understanding in terms of, because I guess maybe my question isn't clear, and I think that's probably what it is. It's probably not clear in terms of being able to allow you guys to answer the question properly in the way that I'm saying it. So I guess what I'm trying to understand is, are you saying that the blood types that we have aren't necessarily real? Are you also saying that we as Black people share the same blood type, even though we have mixed in with some of us, not all of us, have a percentage of Caucasian DNA, whatever the case may be. So I'm kind of trying to get the understanding of that process.
Yeah, we're saying blood types are not real because
Gotcha.
antigens again is a foreign substance.
Right.
So it was not supposed to be there.
Hmm.
My body didn't naturally produce that, and these antigens are just animal proteins, which come from pheomelanin, not neuromelanin. So these blood types, so-called Black people don't really have these blood types. We have antigens, which is what determines blood types.
Yeah, that's what I was finna
Blood
add
type
on.
is determined by antigens.
So if you stop eating right for years, you detox your body, you won't have any animal antigens, is what we're saying. They're going to go off of your red blood cell count or white blood cell count. You see what I'm saying? They're not even going to fake you out with that animal antigen. You know what I mean? Because your blood is too clean. This is how your oppressor fakes you out. So what my brothers and sisters trying to say, skip the blood count. It doesn't matter to you. The antigens will leave your body when you treat your body correctly. So now you're just worried about your blood cell counts. If I'm making that look.
Gotcha.
Genetic makeup, mainly fruits, H3O2, structure, water, and sunlight.
Yep. And if antigens make up blood type, so that just tells you that the foreign substance is what makes up blood type. So the foreign substance that's not supposed to be there makes up that blood type. So what is your real blood type?
Right.
What is your genetic makeup? Like she just said. You know what I'm saying?
Right, and I also want to go back to the main topic. Where do you think these other people came from?
Are you asking me?
Yeah.
Oh, they didn't come from us. I mean, like I said that they were. I don't know if you heard me earlier, but I said that they come from a different group of people. Um, aliens, as people would classify them, they are not from here. That they had to be spliced, and the particular people that they came from wanted to take over this earth, whatever. So they had to be spliced in order to be able to survive on this land because the ones who created them could not survive here.
Okay. What people were spliced in order for them to be created?
I mean, they splice animals. This is all from animals. They
Okay.
had, yeah. This they didn't come from us. If that's the main question, yeah, no.
Okay. I could agree with that.
It's
Okay, my
not
question.
about animals, man.
Because you just clarified things. So are you saying that basically white people are like a splicing of a whole bunch of different animals?
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's animals, though.
So it's
Yeah.
like
It's
dog,
also
pig, and
vegetables,
Pleiadian.
but eukaryotic organisms. Let's say that.
So
How does
Man,
splicing animals connect them to a different group of white people that is not from here?
I'm sorry.
Say it again.
How is that? You said if they're spliced with animals, how are they connected to a different group of organisms that are not from here?
Because the reason why they are connected to them, I don't know if you've ever seen some of the what's it's they like to hide stuff in plain sight, and a lot of people don't pay attention to certain things. But one of the movies that I like to reference a lot is Prometheus. Prometheus is not what you think it is of what the Greeks and Romans. It's not that. Prometheus was about a group of aliens that supposedly visit here. A group of scientists were trying to discover where they came from, and all of the scientists were white. They go on to later see they find these alien ships somewhere ducked off in like Alaska, somewhere like in these frozen caves. And within the movie, they eventually find out they find their cells in some type of box or something that was been kept in there. So basically, long story short, is that the people that they supposedly saw looked very similar to them. And they call them the tall whites. I don't know if y'all ever heard that before. They call them the tall whites, where they're like blonde, they looked blue-eyed, they're see-through, they look like white people, but different versions of white people. Well, if anything, I believe that is where they come from. I've been hearing, or not hearing, but I've been reading some about along the lines of the Dravidians and the Neanderthals. It's possible they could have been spliced between the Dravidians as well as they could have been spliced from them as well. So it's a long laundry, but either way it goes, no matter who they were spliced from, they did not genetically come from Black people or African people, whatever you want to call it.
The people you just named are spliced too.
Yeah, the Greys, the tall whites, the Pleiadians, they were all spliced on this planet. They don't have those so-called Pleiadians. People just giving them these names, but these are not so-called Pleiadians. But these organisms that you're talking about were spliced on this planet as well, amongst with the Neanderthal, with these modern whites, the Bigfoots, all of that shit. So they don't originate from no landmass or no planet or no solar
No
system.
star system or nothing.
Who would have
Yeah, I was
who
gonna
would have
say they
spliced them?
just
Who would have
that's
spliced the
but you
Pleiadians?
see, that's just a way for them to have a space in the cosmos with us. That's cap too. Ain't nobody with no clear skin traveling no cosmos. So that's cap.
Yeah, and you said who spliced them.
Mm-hmm.
All like we said earlier, all of these names in your religious texts, Jesus, Yahweh, whatever, Yeshua, Pindar, Moloch, Satan, all of these is just describing one extraterrestrial being, part of the draconian species that has been genetically splicing organisms on this planet for like over 300,000 years. This is what's been going on.
I'm about to say, may I speak before I go ahead and get up out of here? Because I just got something I want to give people an understanding of the outlet of what's being said on the live. I'm about to say, like, I got like 3 different shows and movies for people to watch based upon what we talking about right now. The first one being Sun Laws. So, like, go watch it, The Sun Laws. I don't know if anybody familiar with that. And then 2 other ones They just dropped the first one. They just dropped the second the sequel to it this year. It's called Castlevania Nocturia. That depicts and talks about how, like they said, talk about how grape and stuff like that based upon our people and what they did to the feminine nature of women and the children of how we used to have powers like the Yoruba tribe, stemming from that stuff, like how we predate a lot of their knowledge and stuff, our esoteric knowledge. They don't want us to remember how we used to use like tattoos, how they demonize tattoos. We use that how we got branded. They used to brand us and stuff like that. So we still even had to wear them. We had to walk through like shackles and scars and still be strong. But then you got Castlevania, the first one. That shows you how like necessarily not all white people were like physically bad. Some of them were on the side to help the restoration of what wickedly happened to us. So like some of them do necessarily have the change of heart, because it's through the chakras of compassion that you necessarily can convert into a honest being. That's what the Ankh shows. You feel me? Weigh your heart, and then you shall have everlasting light. And that's real. But other than that, like, yeah, really like lock in with that. You feel me?
Oh, you said Sun People and Castlevania. Say that again.
So the first one, the Sun Laws. It's
Sun
two
Laws.
other movies that stem out of it, so they're gonna pop up on your YouTube. But the first one is the Sun Laws, and then the other two, they don't connect to the Sun Laws. The Sun Laws is just what anybody can honestly understand from a matriarchal understanding. That's the mother, the matriarchal. No matter what you do in life, how the world looks, society, it's just a big motherboard. All these things, they just harness energy. That's all we are. We're collective consciousness that harness energy through monolithic sentient beings. That's why we stand upright. That's why they harness our energy and feed off of us and what we do. So like the Sun Law shows you how we were solar energies that literally fed from the sun, as ether, whatchamacallit, Casino and Sky were saying, like, we necessarily literally pull peridium energy from the paradox of reality. That's why we exist. We perpetuate our existence every day. That's why when niggas say like how you wake up in the morning, you wake up due to the fact of perpetuation of plasmic energy. Blood is the second factor of what we are. It's just, you feel me? That's why we get hot. That's why we our body gets heated real. If you literally focused on heating your body up right now, it would literally get hot. And that's real skill. That's how you know like we're solar beings. Other than that though, like, yeah, really like lock in. And the last two, like you said, it's Castlevania Nocturia. So like Nocturia, Nocturia. And then the first one that's before it is Castlevania. And it shows you how like we necessarily had a